My wife asked for a divorce. I refused and ripped up the divorce papers.
Classic. I hate the divorce papers.
Can't believe you killed a tree for that. So, me, 27 male, and my wife, 31 female, hit a rough spot and have been separated at home for almost a year now. By the way, this comes from Fun Independence 5964 on the Best Reddit Updates subreddit. So, it was largely my fault. After a big setback and my father's unaliving, I fell into the drink and despair. Stopped taking care of myself and neglected her and was emotionally bad to her. Eventually, she had enough, and after I refused therapy for the nth time, consulted a divorce lawyer and drafted papers. I signed them off right away, but she didn't, keeping them in her room. She knew I was in a hard spot financially, so she said she'd wait for me to come into my inheritance so I could move out, and then she'd sign and file for a no-fault divorce. Not from the U.S. in her country. You can do this.
That's very considerate of her.
After, or maybe she's just trying to get a little of that inheritance.
She's like, well, wait.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Mm-hmm.
And then you'll give me all of your money.
After 2 months sleeping in my home office, I got sick of it, stopped with the drinking, dived into work, and overall did chores around the house and helped her out. When she commented on my change, I boasted I was doing it for myself, not for her, and she agreed because while she wanted me out, she still cared for me. Over the last months, she also occasionally asked me to sleep in the bed with her and not in my home office. Nothing intimate happened, but she still spooned me.
Aw, they have a lot of love for each other.
A little spoon.
They're just going through a hard time.
This was until last evening. We had gotten closer and closer, especially over the holidays, and I told her that what I said was true. I had changed and stopped drinking to show her at first, but then I really wanted to turn over a new leaf and be a good soon-to-be ex-husband. Also, Caitlin Van Kampen says, oh, Sam knows about sleeping in the home office, referencing the fact that Sophia, although the younger sibling, got a whole room to herself as her bedroom, and I had to share a room with my mom's office. And a dog, and my bed was converted into a couch during the day.
And you loved it.
Sure. She went to her room and picked the divorce papers, setting them in front of me. She asked what we should do with those then. So I ripped them, and she yelled out a big yes, and then hugged me.
Wait, so this is a positive. I ripped the divorce papers.
This is
cute.
Like,
we're in love.
We're in love again.
What? They should rip them up really tiny and then use them as confetti.
In their
and then go and get their vows. Yeah.
Their vows renewed.
Yeah.
So I guess we won't be getting divorced. Hooray!
Hooray!
And you might think, oh, finally, a happy ending on
Yeah,
Reddit.
this is it. That's it. That's the end of the story.
But we're only 10% done with this story. We have more, but we have some relevant comments. So, Objective Error 402 says, your wife is a keeper. Guard her with your life and don't ever break her heart. Good luck, bro. OP responds, I will, thank you. I was so deep down in negativity that I could not see how I hurt her. To add, I may sound neutral / uncaring by the tone of the post, but I really didn't expect what happened, what I did, and how she'd react. We had talked a bit previously about this, and all she said is that she was in no hurry to divorce as long as I was respectful and kept improving. I had a hunch she wanted to try and reconcile, but she was already being so generous to me that I didn't want to try and push my luck. And I admit it feels weird that we can be husband and wife again. I guess it will take some time after over a year as roommates. And EJ Math 13 says, just to add, she likely wanted the changes, but wanted them to be motivated changes, not based on a threat. OP making the changes even after signing the papers shows the changes are for himself and likely to stick, even if it was to be a good soon-to-be ex-husband. Very different than proving you should be a keeper. Still kudos all around. And OP responds, thank you. She was ready to go through with it because even if she loves me, she couldn't keep enduring me hurting both myself and her emotionally and morally. And I think she was right to do that. It still feels weird to be sleeping in the same bed every night and be affectionate. Aww. We haven't been intimate at all during separation, and she hinted she wants to reconnect too. On that level. Ooh. Earth Angel 10614 says, take things slow. Show her intimacy, not spicy sleep. Learn to be best friends, whether for the first time or again. Confide in her. and listen, really listen when she confides in you. Share your thoughts and emotions with her. You don't have to grieve alone, and I don't think she ever wanted you to. In my opinion, there's nothing spicy sleepier than a guy who is in touch with himself enough that he will cry in front of his girl. Let her know you trust her enough to share that with her. And it's okay to let her hold you while you grieve. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You should each be able to feel your individual pain, to be confronted.
Comforted.
OP responded.
Comforted. Like that, like Benjamin Button at the end of Benjamin Button.
Just like that. OP responded, you are right. I definitely need to learn to be more open emotionally, and I'm working on it in therapy. Also, when we hug or cuddle, I admit to her that it feels a bit weird, but also pleasant and fuzzy after so much time. She just reassures me that for those things, we have all the time in the world. But she also said, no hurry, and take things at our pace. Right angle says eventually she had enough after I refused therapy for the nth time. This is the actual step you need to take. Therapy. You are a drinky dranker coming out of a major depressive episode. This won't be the last depressive episode, nor will it be the last relapse. Don't let the honeymoon period blind you to what's really happening. You have a golden opportunity to save your marriage. Start doing the real work. OP responds, you're absolutely right. I'm in therapy now. Where transpired, I was swapping drankism for workaholism. So now I'm trying to find a healthy ground because in the long run, it would undo all the progress so far. All right. So we got a bunch of, it seems like OP is cementing all these good habits.
You got to get your eyes wet to get her wet.
Oh.
Amen. That's true.
Sure. But it does seem like OP, like everyone's in the comments is like, make sure you're vigilant.
Yeah. Which I mean is true. Like,
yeah.
Like you need to. I think.
I think OP is doing that.
That last comment was really good.
But is he going to do it for long? What are our bets? If you're a betting man, is OP going to stick
I think OP's
to the
gonna make
straight and narrow?
I think he's gonna do it.
Kimberly Fine says, Jesus, don't predict a relapse out loud to a newly sober person. Yeah, I thought
do
that
think
was a little bit much.
That's why I feel like the commenter could have been a little bit like, hey, just like make sure you know.
Yeah, they could have said it better.
You got this, bro.
But this is Reddit. Well, we got an update 5 days later. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I posted a week ago about what had happened the evening prior after living separate at home for almost a year. My soon-to-be ex-wife wanted to reconcile, so I ripped the divorce papers in front of her to her delight. However, soon after the realization that I had planned my whole new year around, the fact that I was getting divorced set in, and that the decision of reconciliation actually brought me uncertainty and anxiety. My wife noticed that, and we had a number of heart-to-hearts about this. There were laughs, even tears during those talks, tears of the good, liberatory kind. My wife rarely, if almost never, cries. She's the stoic type, but seeing her break into tears, sobbing how much I hurt her and that she still loves me was like getting stabbed in the heart. I realized the pain I caused her that is still fresh and burning. She unloaded all the pain and turmoil I had inflicted upon her with the past behavior and admitted she felt both proud and bitter about my changes last year. Proud because I turned my life around. Bitter because I accepted the divorce so quickly as if she was what was holding me back and she wasn't worth my best self.
No.
However, she was also angry at herself because she was already reconsidering the divorce back in June, but didn't say anything or gave me signals because she feared I'd revert back to my old behavior or would rebuff her. In the meantime, I had started to renovate my father's old villa.
Oh, right. OP has an inheritance.
Well, more of a big house than a proper mansion. To move in this year and gave her only breadcrumbs of information about it. And she was both positively surprised to learn about all the work I am putting into it, and again, a bit bitter that I didn't tell her anything about all my projects that were designed without her in mind, and if she was just an already fading memory. The possibility of an amicable divorce has been brought up again, but she wanted 2 clear answers. Was there another woman?
No.
Did I actually stop loving her? The answers to both questions is no. I told her I did suffer from losing her in our marriage, but I didn't want to be the ex-husband who made fleeting promises, hounded her down, and made a nuisance of herself. It's the least I could have done after making her suffer so much. And also, my butt hurts. Squats yesterday.
And also, my butt hurts.
Yeah,
That's what OP said.
I did squats yesterday, and
Yeah.
you know,
Can you walk? How does it feel walking up the stairs?
feels like 2 pancakes.
Wait a second. Are you gonna set up like that for a sec?
I'm trying to make my butt just not.
You got it.
All right. Also, thank her for her infinite kindness. I just worked, did my best to be a good soon-to-be ex-husband, paid my utilities, and wanted to pay her rent for the room she allocated to me in her home, which she always refused even when I insisted. Eventually, I arrived at the $1 million question.
Uh-oh.
Do we want this marriage to work?
Yes.
Yes.
It just seems like both of them are trying to do what they think is right for the other person. And they just need to have a conversation.
Mhm. They're playing
talk about
relationship chicken.
Yeah, they're like,
Answer?
oh, well, if you want to get a divorce, it's fine.
Answer?
What's the answer?
Yes.
Let's go.
Huzzah!
It won't be easy, and there's still a lot of work to do and be done. And we agreed to take baby steps and have already booked a couple therapy sessions for this week. I'm already doing individual therapy, but now she'll be looking for individual therapy for herself as well. In the last week, we went on some quiet dates, walks, and a short hiking trip. I also made a peace offering of sorts by asking her if she wanted to participate in my renovation project of my father's house, giving her input and ideas. She was enthusiastic about it. She likes gardening, but her property has no garden, and she makes do with potted plants on the balcony. While my father's house has a large garden and a big plot of overgrown land behind it. She said, we'll be busting our backs, but it'll be worth it. And I think that working together on a shared project will help reestablish our bond.
It also gives OP this kind of thing to work
Yeah.
on, too.
So that's where we stand now. The road is still long and difficult, but I am hopeful. I wish sincerely that all the Redditors who gave me their insights, comments, praises, and criticism their best. And
Dude.
comments, congrats. I was the one who suggested doing the renovation together. I'm glad she liked the idea. Best of luck. OP responds, yes, I took your advice and couldn't thank you enough for it, my friend. It brought out an enthusiasm I hadn't seen in so long. Team Ink says, congratulations. Thank you. OP says, it's still too soon. And Spoink 74 says, I'm really happy to read this one. The last one ended on a too positive a note. This one is more realistic, but also hopeful and optimistic.
They were like, it was too happy. I didn't trust it.
Yeah. OP responds and says, yes, it would have been foolish to think everything would have been fine right away. It's not like in movies where they make passionate love and are all lovey-dovey all of a sudden. There's been distance for a year and hurt on both sides. It'll take time to heal and be close to each other again. But there's an update.
No.
And it's not all rosy. Shall we go straight into it?
Yes.
Also, as the progression of the garden grows,
The
Their
relationship
relationship will.
grows.
Mhm.
So true.
True. So OP responds with an update 8 days later. Difficulty sleeping with wife after separation? Is that normal?
Presumably.
Presumably. Little change in the last week. We had our first couple counseling session and her first therapy session. We laid down the framework for our marriage, went out on some dates, and overall spent quality time together. We still haven't been intimate, though. She tried to initiate once, but I gently turned it into cuddling and talking. Another issue is that I have some difficulties sleeping in the same bed as her, not because I have something against her, but I'm so used to sleeping in my own bed that I often only sleep 1 to 2 hours with her, wake up, and head to my home office / bedroom and sleep there. My thought process, though, is like, I feel like when I had a long-term girlfriend, I slept better with them.
Mhm.
And then when I got out of that relationship, I got used to sleeping better alone. And then when I
Yeah,
got
it's just
into a new relationship, initially it was hard to sleep with the person. And then it became easier to sleep better with them.
Yeah, I think it just takes time to adjust to sleeping with anyone new.
yeah.
Yeah.
In any circumstance, it's going to be a different, you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's just
this
different.
person
Yeah.
breathes.
Yeah, this person breathes, or like this person has like tape over their mouth and suffocates themselves in them.
Mhm.
Or they sleep.
I don't suffocate myself.
I wasn't talking about you.
I wake up and then head to my office / bedroom and sleep there. I wake up earlier and fix breakfast for her, so she's happy about it, but mentioned once I didn't sleep with her. Do those things take time? I mean, yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
I believe so, but I'm a bit scared I'm giving the impression I gave up on our marriage. I believe it will take months and a lot of work to get back at how we were, while she thinks the process should be quicker and I'm being too hard on myself and her.
Yeah. I think that, I feel like OP probably would get you more used to sleeping in the same bed if he was staying in the bed.
Yeah, I feel like you have to, you're
you have
not
to push
gonna,
through it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to push through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, like when your baby is learning to sleep on its own. It's like it always wants to sleep with you, but
you just have to let it cry.
you have to let it cry for a little bit.
You have to let your soul cry a little bit.
Yeah. Bubbles Marie, though, says, I am team separate beds. A little after 12 years, I want my space and I snore, so I wake him up. Caitlin Van Campen says, can we normalize couples sleeping in different beds? I hate sharing a bed with my partner unless it's for spicy time.
Which I think is
no.
super fair. I think that if you don't want to sleep in the same bed with your partner, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
In this situation, it does seem like OP was doing that and wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And it's
all preference.
Yeah.
You don't have to sleep with a partner to be intimate with a partner.
My grandpa sleeps on the couch and my grandma sleeps in bed. And growing up, that was normal to me until I mentioned it to someone. They were like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, I mean, it was really common in
the 50s.
In the 50s in television, whenever two people slept in separate beds, because that's what everyone did.
Well, just also in different eras of time, that was you like with kings and queens, they would sleep in different rooms.
I'm sorry, Riley.
It's a thing.
My butt just is destroying. Maybe John will take my place for a little bit.
Oh, it's on me. Ming Ming says, preference, but communicate with your partner. That's the thing. I think that he needs to talk to his wife more and say, hey, I'm not leaving the bed because I don't like you or something. It's because I'm still getting used to it. Just let her know.
Yeah. But we got a little bit more to this story.
Ooh.
So Comprehensive Row says, in the dead bedroom subreddit, which is it's a real subreddit.
Thing.
Dang, man.
People have discussed how you lose spicy sleep familiarity with someone and may feel uninterested or repulsed. You might have to rebuild it like you're new to each other and dating. In some ways, you're not the same people anymore when you first met. And we got some deleted updates.
Oh. OP was like, you can't know this?
Yeah.
And then they found it anyway because you can't delete anything online.
So, former drinky dranker, 27 male. I can't get over the shame even if my wife, 31 female, says she's proud of me 2 days later. I've been sober for over a year and got sober after she served me divorce papers. She decided to reconcile last January, and although things have been not easy, to say the least, we still sleep separately, and I don't feel secure enough to have spicy sleep with her. We do lots of individual and couples therapy. We somehow are managing. However, despite what she says, I can't get over the shame that I have been a useless and emotionally bad drunkard. And she probably remembers me as such. And the shame and guilt is becoming unbearable. I work as a civil servant in family services, ironically enough. And recently I got moved to the cabinet in the provincial government. Even had a photo shaking hands with our prime minister.
Whoa.
My wife picked this photo and put it out on Facebook for everyone to see, writing how proud she was. I do think she genuinely believes this, and I'm happy, but I also think she's too eager to sweep out the past and our problems that aren't fixed at all. I feel a lot of shame and guilt towards her every time I look at her, and at a certain point even looked forward to divorce.
No.
I think this is a case of someone not having enough self-worth to believe that they deserve this love and are honestly trying to find problems because they don't believe they can have something this good.
Well, I mean, it's probably what kind of played in the reason he started drinking. There was probably some of that self-loathing and stuff, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard because this person loves you so much, and sometimes it's hard to see that.
But she insists I am doing all the right things, and if I love her, divorce would be something I'll end up regretting.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel hopeless and even alone in my feelings. She wants for us to move on, but while for her, it might be easy to forgive me, for me, it's not easy to let go of the shame of what I was to her. My therapist says I have to deal with it on my own as I caused all this, and I agree, but I don't know how to move forward. Is there something I can do, or should I learn to accept this and live with it? Maybe with time it will get better. After all, a year sober is almost nothing, and there is more. So it seems like OP
self-sabotage.
yeah, it's a little self-sabotage. I feel like the wife has already forgiven and is trying to like move towards intimacy, but OP doesn't think enough
again
of themselves.
And again is like cutting it off and stopping it.
Yeah, which I think is, a sign you need more self-therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Princess Tika 2 says, but OP is self-sabotaging himself a lot.
No, it seems like the wife has, as you said, forgiven him and is trying to move forward. But yeah, I think if you can't forgive yourself, it is hard to move forward with another person.
Yeah. But we got another update. So my 27 male wife, 31 female, wanted a divorce because I was a drinky drinker. I got sober. She wants to reconcile, and it makes me feel anxious. She had every right to file for divorce because of my drankness. She didn't deserve that. In the meantime, I was sick of it, so I stopped the drinking, focused on my career, and on renovating my father's house. She wanted to reconcile upon seeing those changes, and I agreed, but now I'm realizing I had internalized the divorce in my life plans. I planned my new lease on life around it. I can't see myself being intimate with her. She tried a couple of times, and I gently turned her down. As a gesture of goodwill, I asked her if she wanted to participate in my father's home renovation project, and she accepted with enthusiasm. She always wanted a garden. Now I'm regretting it because that was supposed to be my retreat from the world, and I will have to share it with her. I said all of this to her. She was upset, but also understanding. In her opinion, part of the fault is hers. She never communicated about reconciliation and sprung it up on me, and as a result, what should have been a happy thing became a source of stress and anxiety for me. My therapist and her are saying this is depression talking, but I'm not so sure. Are we truly done? Yeah, I do think it's depression talking.
Absolutely.
I feel like the wife has like fully moved on and OP just can't.
Yeah. He's very, which is so sad. Yeah. I mean, and also I think that is, a lot of people in the comments are saying this is.
Yeah, read some of the comments. What do you got?
Caitlin Von Compen says, Sophia, yes, forgiving yourself is the hardest part of recovery. He is feeling everything I felt when getting sober. And Not Your Ex-Girlfriend says, it's one day closer to never feeling the worst in your life. Needs to shift perspective and gain self-worth. Yeah. It's just going from this just unimaginably hard point in your life where you were, where he was so low, feeling so low and also hurting other people and now just trying to get out of that.
But we got an update. My 27 male wife, 31 female, wanted a divorce because I was a drinker, got sober. She wants to reconcile, and it makes me feel anxious one day later. So not really an update, just a new development. I showed her the last thread. She's reading it on her phone. She said she already knew many of the things I wrote, including the comments about Gem and flowers. She said if she knew the anguish and reconciliation so soon would cause, she wouldn't have offered it and is regretting it.
No.
She thanks everyone for the kind words and appreciation made towards her. At the same time, she got upset in her opinion because in her opinion, I put things worse than they are. So either I exaggerated them or I've been keeping my true feelings from her, and this is a problem. For example, she says, I'm not as cold as I'm making myself up to be, and that she's not as pushy as I make her to be, and in fact, she's been giving me lots of space. She says I'm doing weird self-sabotage here. That's what we said. She says I'm trying to get her to leave me, but it won't happen, and if I really want to end it, I have to do it myself. She doesn't agree with it, but if I want to move out, she won't oppose it. She wasn't angry, just very numb.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to push her away because he feels like he's hurting her and he's still hurting her.
Now we have an update 13 days later.
No.
Things are not easy, but overall they are going well, both in therapy and everyday life. There's still some issues in getting intimate, but we are getting there. Sometimes, though, the shame and guilt become too much, and I wonder why she's even staying with me. Maybe sunk costs. I do my best little gifts, dates, cooking her favorite dishes, picking up chores, but to me, it always feels like I could do more. I think, again, it's the depression talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes she notices this and says, take it easy. She says, I try too hard sometimes and it comes off as artificial. She likes that now I'm all smiles, always shaved, well-dressed, and gentlemanly with her, but joke that sometimes I look like the president of her country of origin. I'm doing my best, though, even at the cost of overdoing it. And Historical Option in the comments says, you should really talk to a therapist and get longitudinal guidance. You're doing too much and it'll come across as cringe and overbearing. OP responds, we were doing therapy, but so far it's still very early. I was very apathetic about everything, so now I try my best to be enthusiastic about things. She usually likes it, but once I made a dance step, she laughed and said, what the heck was that?
So OP's like trying to find this balance and is going from apathy to just masking everything. And it's gonna take a minute for you to find where that balance is.
Yeah, but it sounds like she's okay.
Yeah. She's gonna give you that time
while you find it out.
Yeah, these commenters need to be a little bit nicer. We don't have to say he's being cringe.
I don't know if he's being cringe. Sad Tutor 2169 says, get a new therapist. He told you you're on your own. That sounds a bit unethical. Your wife loves you and wants you to heal. She is doing everything she can, it seems, to help you towards that goal. Seems you need to forgive yourself before you make a decision about your relationship. OP responds, somewhat. She told me to get a grip on those feelings or I'll end up self-sabotaging and ruining everything. Caterpillar Training 1 says, that doesn't sound like she said you're on your own at all. Sometimes you need help of others to get a grip.
That is interesting because I was wondering about that you know, the therapist saying that, and maybe based off of this comment, it seems like OP might have kind of skewed what the therapist said in his mind.
Nurse Aaron says, I know he's in therapy, but I'm thinking he may need to start a medication to assist.
He might be on it.
He might be on it, but I was with a friend talking about like SSRIs, which is like for like depression medication. And something that he was saying is like sometimes when you've been depressed for so long, you don't realize what feeling good can feel like. And like he said, like, oh, you know, I don't necessarily want to be dependent on the medication, but using it as a reminder to understand like, oh, like this doesn't have to be my baseline. I can feel like it is within me to feel good about myself and my situation. Like that can be a good reminder to like get back out of depression.
Oh.
Nikki Bordeaux says, sounds like OP has issues with moderation. He's going from one extreme to another with his relationship with addiction. That's a really good.
Yeah. Well, he's like, if we're not back to where we were, then maybe we should just break up again. And it takes time.
And then Nurse Aaron says, exactly, Sam. I'm actually a psych nurse. I hear this a lot.
And Sophia Calone says, no, it's not addictive. It's necessary if you need it. You can't get out of it if you have the disorder. I think it depends on, I think, from person to person.
Yeah.
With depression. Because some people obviously need like medication that they, you know.
But I also think like a lot of like negative emotions that we feel are pointing us in a direction to feel better about our situation. You know, like often like I felt this, like I was thinking about this myself recently, where it's like like in times of like when I feel lonely, right? What that feeling of loneliness is saying to me is go seek connection, like go like hang out with your friends, go like poke your sister and be like, let's watch Walking Dead together, right? If instead you satiate that with like watching, you know, a movie or like, I don't know, doing something that doesn't act like that numbs that wanting that feeling of desiring connection instead of like actually solves it. I think you can get into this habit of just like numbing instead of actually letting that emotion feel complete, like run through you completely and then acting on it. And Sophia Callan says, but disorders aren't normal emotions.
That's
it's
what
normal.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's different.
This is not comparing OP. Like this is not saying that he shouldn't need it, but
no, I get your point. I think they're like, we're kind of taught, like Sophia Calon and other people are talking about different, because there's medically diagnosed depression, whereas that's something that you literally like need meds for.
Yeah.
And then there's going through a really hard time.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a medical diagnosis and stuff like that. So there's like different approaches to both of those.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
We got another update So I ripped my wife's divorce papers 3 days later. 2 months ago, things are going lukewarmly well. Talks of reinitiating divorce proceedings have stopped. And although we still sleep separately and have no intimacy, my issues working on it with my therapist, we are doing well.
You okay?
Sometimes I feel I can't get over the shame that I have been a useless and abusive drunkard, and she probably remembers me as such, and the shame and guilt become unbearable, but then it passes a bit. Basically, we're starting over, dating, doing bonding activities. I get her gifts and surprises. She admitted she thought things would go faster, but in the end agrees with me that after a year of separation, things can't just get back as before. She also says I am too hard on myself, but I think she's the one being too indulgent. But apart from those difficulties, we are doing fine. We got some comments. So Taiwan Bandit says, basically, we're starting over, dating, doing bonding activities. They say, I've been following your story and happy you seem to be making progress. You both have been through a lot of turmoil, but have stuck with each other for the most part. So keep at it. Seek therapy to help along the road. I think once you get over the intimacy blockage, you will be much better off as a couple. Keep working at it, OP. Take care. And OP responds, thank you. I have hope, but sometimes I feel like we are stuck or that we are delaying the inevitable, although I feel like this only occasionally. And Taiwan Bandit says, a break through the wall, OP. I think you can make this work. And update 3, I ripped my wife's divorce papers. I am leaving.
No, OP. No.
I'm leaving.
No. I hope you mean like you're leaving to move into your dad's place together.
You're leaving the county you currently live in.
I think this will be my last post for a while. Things are going well, reasonably so. Still having issues in the bedroom, but I'm working on them to try to be a good husband, at least on that aspect. Last week, I received a work assignment in the capital of our country. It's a 2-month-long assignment, and I'll be provided state housing. She's excited about this and already wants to pack her bags. By the way, you should pack your bags and join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. BST right here on YouTube and Facebook. Just tap a profile.
Tap it.
There's another relevant update. Should we
Okay,
get
so
into
that it doesn't seem like he is actually leaving.
We'll see. I have my doubts about her coming along for her own sake. She has friends and family here. Me, not so much. Cut them all off and not interested in reconnecting. I don't know if that's healthy, OP.
Ooh.
Her support system as a whole is there. She has reasons and loved ones to stay here, unlike me. She won't budge since we are married. It's her full right to come along. And since she has her own e-commerce business, she can manage it remotely. Plus, she wants us to get back home every weekend. I know better than dying on this hill, so I'll always be leaving with her.
So
That's it. Naturally, I am always cautiously and within reason hopeful about our future together.
Okay,
so they're leaving
They're
together.
leaving together.
Oh, let's go.
Huzzah!
And there is one more final
OP
update.
lied to us.
This might be a happy Reddit story.
It seems like it was like really up in the air. OP was not sure if he could do it.
To 2 more. We actually have 2 more updates.
2 more updates. Oh man.
So 4 weeks later, just dropped by to say this will really be my last post. It's not. We got 1 more. I couldn't take it anymore, and I did not understand why I kept having negative thoughts about my wife and me despite things going well. And some of you got into my head. There could be something wrong in my head. We were literally talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got in touch with a
tumor.
professional, got tests done, and found out my blood values were very screwed up.
Let's
Whoa.
go.
This led the doctors to speculate a chemical imbalance in my brain and prescribed me antidepressants. Not exactly antidepressants. They are mood regulators, they told me.
This is what helped my mom.
This must be. I mean, I've talked to people who have been in situations like this with different mental health things, but like it must be so kind of relieving to realize it's not your fault. You literally have like chemical imbalances in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't do anything wrong. You weren't failing or anything. You literally
Yeah.
just like
That's
it was
why.
just your brain.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
your brain.
My mom did that, and she found out she had like a lack of B12, and so she gets
Yeah.
like a B12 shot every like 3 months. And then my brother would always sleep, mad sleep, sad sleep, tired sleep. So she took him to get his blood work done to see if she could also fix him. He's fine.
He's just a sleepy
tired.
boy.
Oh.
Both my wife and I were hesitant about this, but I gave it a try, and lo and behold, my negative thoughts disappeared overnight. I
Oh, wow.
finally feel in control of my emotions. I feel that I love my wife, and I feel that things can and will get better.
You just needed medicine.
I was putting on a front before, but now I really enjoy spending time with her and make her smile. We started making sweet love again, and no blue pill was needed. And we got back from the capital every weekend. We were turning my father's old villa into our private retreat and love nest. I did apologize for my unreliable behavior in the past months. After she had extended me an olive branch, she said she doesn't blame because of what we know now, but I still think it's not a valid excuse. I should have sought medical help sooner. Now I can say and mean it that I'm happy and grateful. My wife practically gave me a third chance, and I don't want to waste it. I want to make her smile every day and enjoy everything to the fullest. I guess this is it, and you won't be hearing from me ever again. Not true, we will. I just want to thank you guys for your inputs, opinions, advice, and criticism. Per aspera ad astra. And Taiwan Bandit says, congrats, OP. Many have been following your story and happy you gave us a positive story to read. Continue to take care of yourself and your wife. And OP responds, thank you, my friend. I will. It feels like I've been on a very long hangover, and it cleared up just now. And Veronica9216 says, I followed your story, and I was one of those thinking there was something wrong in your head. No offense. I mean a chemical imbalance. I'm glad to see medication has improved you and your wife's quality of life. I think she's especially happy because after all this time, she finally got back the love of her life. OP responds, thank you. I admit I am a bit afraid I could end up hooked on medication for the rest of my life. But doctors reassured me it won't be the case. And anyhow, the priority is our wellness. Hobby Subs only also says, it's wonderful to see that you are finally getting medicated for the issue that you self-medicated with alcohol. I wish you the best. And OP says, you are right. I stopped drinking. I never properly prioritized taking care of my wife and myself. This has changed now. And we have another update.
Man, oh man.
6 weeks later. But I really want to just quickly say, I think this is the beauty of trying some of this medication because you can understand what it feels like to feel good.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it just again shows that if you go if you are feeling these things and you're feeling like something is wrong, get tested, because either it can be maybe it's just I need to switch up how I'm living my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that is the solution, or it might be literally something is wrong with your brain and you need actual medication and you don't know what your solution is until you
and sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's like you can't have the right habits and structure of your life if you don't know what happiness feels like. Because often, in a healthy brain, you have negative emotions that point you towards doing positive things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in an unbalanced brain, you point your life towards what should be positive things, and then nothing in your brain changes. And so it's like you've kind of lost your North Star, your compass.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what getting on the right medication looks like is you have a compass that works again.
Yes.
And you can point yourself towards the right things.
And if you have a good doctor, they will make sure that you're getting the right amount of medication, and that's not gonna as Josephine Middleberg says, most mood stabilizers are non-addictive. So it's making sure you're on the right medication and you're good.
You're good. But we got one final update.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Take us home.
I know I said I wouldn't post anymore, but I just wanted to let you guys know that things are going better and better.
Let's go.
My mental state is always good, and my wife is always smiling. She's letting her creativity flourish in my father's villa garden. She has lots of projects and has already planted a lot of different flowers and plants. When we are there, she just loves relaxing in the garden after a long day and sometimes even falls asleep there. For now, we stay there occasionally, but we are thinking about moving there permanently.
Do it.
And for my wife to rent her place. And it was a lot of fun to discover all the rooms in the house, explore the attic, and the rest of the property. Wife says this is our slice of paradise, and who knows, if things are going well, it would be the best place to raise a family.
Oh, wow.
We travel a lot between the capital and our town for my work, and all the traveling makes us bond even more. We make little stops on the way and discover new places. Our love life has also fired up.
Ooh-wee.
They banging. And we have done and experimented much more in the last months than all the years that we have been married. They got the stocks. You got the stocks and the tomatoes and the paddles.
That's right.
That's
It
darn
does
right.
wonders to a
It
relationship.
does wonders to the
The
relationship.
stocks?
Yeah, we haven't told you about my kinky thing where I put Riley in stocks in my room. You know, those the medieval
Yeah,
stocks
no,
and throw tomatoes at them.
Okay.
Yeah. Reference from another episode.
You
I
know how
wasn't there.
all those times you go rock climbing?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm climbing on Riley.
No, I thought you guys were making soup.
That's what you do.
And she's very happy that I initiate a much more than I did in the past. Overall, I would say we are more than okay. Taiwan Bandit says, such a nice update. I followed your story from the beginning and it's so refreshing to read a happy update. Take care of you and your lovely wife. Start that family and fill that villa up with children's voices, laughter, and love. Thanks for the updates.
It's lovely.
And that is where our story ends.
Dang.
It really, it took time, but we got there. And now
got
OP and his wife are just sitting outside in the flowers.
In the sun and the rain.
Lovely. My wife refuses to accept our divorce, and I think she's trying to trick me. This is Okay OP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia, and Riley, what's the best trick you've ever played?
Myself.
Whoa! So Straight Corner 3555 says, using a throwaway because I just need advice. My wife, 29 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 4 years. And up until a year and a half ago, things were great. Our marriage began to deteriorate after there was a significant drop in sex between us. Not intimacy, just the actual sex part of the relationship. We would still cuddle and have deep, intimate moments, talking and just being around each other, but she kept rejecting my attempts at taking things further past kissing. Now, we have had no problem communicating, so I made sure to address it early, and we talked and made adjustments. We both made sure to stay in shape, we tried being more adventurous, we went to couples therapy / counseling, and even tested both of our hormone levels. Everything was normal. Each solution would work for a little while, and then we'd be back to having sex maybe once a month. I asked her several times if she was no longer attracted to me, to which she denied every time. I asked her if I was falling short in the relationship in any way, to which she said no. Well, about a month ago, she gets back from her therapy session and tells me that she believes that she's asexual, and that's the reason for her libido being non-existent as of late. I was definitely confused because we had such great sex for a while in the beginning of a relationship, but her telling me that she's now asexual was heartbreaking because everything else is great. Obviously, I'm not going to force her to have sex, so we had a long conversation about our relationship, and I came to the conclusion that we should get a divorce. Whoa.
Yo.
I feel like that's a really quick,
I mean,
I don't know. It depends on how many conversations they have, because this sounds like they had one conversation and he
Yeah.
was like, I got a divorce.
the biggest thing for him is,
Yeah.
and they're trying new things. They're working it out. Guess he just can't get past this. That sucks.
That does suck because it seems like they still have they still have great intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a hasty decision to make.
Yeah, it's that big.
I don't think so, but
Like,
apparently he does.
is that the biggest factor of your relationship with her? I think you might need to do some like readjusting.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
not,
like if
that's not healthy.
I don't know. To me, like, again, everyone has their own, stuff in a relationship and their own requirements. But I don't know. For me, I don't think that would be something I would break up over.
Yeah.
Especially like they've been together for 4 years, right?
Yeah. And this only happened like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So he's just not been satisfied.
I say because she immediately rejected the idea. She said no. He's like, we should get a divorce. And she was like, Ashley,
Can't.
Uno reverse. And said we would figure something out and wouldn't talk to me about it anymore. I didn't know what to say, so I dropped it. Well, 3 weeks go by without, and I decided that I have to do this for my own mental well-being. So I filed for divorce and had her served with the papers.
Honestly, if such a big part of your relationship,
It seems, yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
Go to a
I
therapist.
mean, but her, like, because she's asexual, she just because it's a kind of a spectrum.
Okay.
Like some asexuals will have, some will not have it at all. And it seems like she's in the group of like, I don't want to have it at all.
Yeah. Another part of me thinks maybe he's not romantic enough
Yeah.
or being intimate. Maybe.
I feel like there are other ways to achieve intimacy in a relationship, and I don't think like the number one thing.
Yeah.
But I guess for him it is. Last week when I got home from work, she was going about the day like nothing was wrong. I asked her if she signed the papers and she flat out said, "We are not getting a divorce," and changed the subject and acted like things were normal. Obviously, I thought this was crazy, so I stopped her and said I couldn't be in a marriage devoid of. And I mentioned that I was being incredibly fair with our divorce. I don't know if that's like she just doesn't want, she wants you. She doesn't care about like the fairness of the divorce or like the money. She just wants to be in a relationship with you. She can keep the house that we bought and paid for with cash. She paid 1/3. I paid 2/3. I'd take all of the debt, which isn't much. We'd split our savings and investments in half, and she can keep 2 of our 3 paid off cars. I only wanted to keep my sports car. Thankfully, we don't have kids. I love her and want her to be comfortable, and I have no problem starting over since I made a good income, but she won't budge or talk about the divorce. This brings us to 2 days ago. I get home and go to our bed and find my wife's friend, 27 female, in our bed naked. Oh my God, what? I immediately shut the door, said sorry, and went looking for my wife. I feel like she's doing this, like she's like, oh, if you have sex with this person, we can still have our relationship.
Oh, that's so sad.
I feel like that's where this is going, which is,
and what kind of friend is this?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
I feel like either the friend is like super ride or die, or she already liked the guy.
Super ride or die. Could you ever be ride or die for a friend like this?
No.
That's crazy. That's insane.
No.
I don't think I could.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in that. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I found her in the kitchen and asked what her friend was doing here, and she said that she was here for me. Oh God. I put 2 and 2 together and said that I'm not having sex with another woman in place of the woman I chose to marry. She was adamant on saying that I could sleep with her whenever I wanted and that her friend agreed to it.
This is wild.
Your husband would also have to, OP would have to agree to it too. That's not how that works.
That is insane.
That is not how that works. I couldn't believe things would get this far, so I went back to our bedroom and asked her friend to leave. I packed a bag and I've been staying in a hotel nearby since that night. My wife, her mother, and her sister keep calling me, but I'm just not interested in hearing what they have to say. This feels like a trick. I just want this whole thing to be over.
Her mother and sister?
Yeah. Does anyone have advice? Is this some kind of ploy for alimony? We do have a prenup. Should I just contact my lawyer and try and force the divorce? I'm really uncomfortable with this entire situation. And edit, we talked last night. I'll update when I get home from work. And there is an update.
This is insane.
But before we get into it, let's talk.
Sadly, it makes sense why the wife would do this.
Yeah.
He's not getting solution.
Yeah.
Him having
She's
sex.
just like, oh, maybe I can like still be married to him if we do this. Definitely wrong way to go about that.
Wrong way to go about it.
That was a discussion. But I also think that, I don't know.
He's just trying to save the relationship.
There should have been a longer discussion, and maybe there were. It doesn't really say, before he was like, yeah, we're getting divorced. He says, he later implies, he's like, I'm not having sex with your friend over the person I chose to marry. But he's like choosing to divorce her. So it's like, I don't know. At first I'm totally against her friend idea.
Mm-hmm.
That was not well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like very bad. Should not have done that. But like originally I felt really bad for her because I feel like he's just making really hasty decisions based off of like, I don't know.
Yeah, that should have been a talk, communication.
Yeah.
Would you want to be with someone that was okay with that? Like for the wife, like the wife, I'm just interested of like over time, if her, like the husband said yes, starts having sex with her friend, how long until things get complicated?
How long until she's jealous? Yeah.
And then what are you going to do then?
I think there's always a chance where I feel like in this situation, it was definitely like the wrong move. In other situations, there are like ways to make it work and communication involved in opening your relationship. But yeah, I think this was the wrong move because if he had agreed to it, she's only doing it because she's like, there's a part that you are literally part of myself that you are literally willing to like divorce me over. And I feel like this is very desperate grab to like bring him back, which is sad. But there's an update. Maybe it gets better. Probably not.
Yay.
I'll try to keep this as concise as possible. I feel overwhelmed, so I probably won't bother with another update after this one. I don't know. My wife came to my hotel last night and we talked about everything. She told me the full truth and what's going on in her mind.
Ooh.
Number 1.
You think she's cheating?
No.
She said full truth.
Yeah, and you were like, cheating.
Yeah.
That's most of the stories.
Boom.
A few of you commented this in the last post, so you were right. She has always been asexual. She and her whole family have known this since she was 16. Oh, so he's just finding. Okay. Apparently, this is the reason why her last long-term relationship of 3 years ended. He broke up with her after the sex between them diminished to being non-existent after the first year. She told me that this is easier for her in the beginning when emotions are running high, but she still needs to force herself to have it. I know they broke up due to irresolvable differences, but I didn't ask for details, nor did she tell me. After a lot of apologies and crying, she told me that I was the first person she was able to tolerate with for so long, that she did enjoy it a handful of times, but after a while, she still felt like she was being used. I broke down after hearing this and started kicking myself for not catching on to any of this. She said she tried her best to please me as much as she could. There's more to that update, but ooh.
It sucks. Because in a way, the husband may feel like she's not being intimate. No, he just wants.
Yeah.
That's so tough.
It's so tough. And I feel really bad for her because on the one hand, I feel like there's a part of me that's like, oh, you should disclose that if you know at the beginning or like towards the beginning of the relationship, because it is such a big part of you. Like it's part of your identity. But also there is like, especially for asexual, there's a fear, because there's such a stigma about like, needing to, like people needing to have sex in a relationship and sex being the only way to have intimacy in a relationship, which isn't true. So I feel like there's a lot of fear about that, especially since her first relationship ended over it. Yeah,
this
that's
is
really
so
tricky.
sad.
It's really sad. Like she just wants to have this relationship with the man that she loves, and they're married.
They are married, and it looks like they're doing well.
Yeah,
they got a house paid for and some cars paid for.
She still doesn't want a divorce, and she doesn't want the house, cars, or the savings. She just wants me and is ready to do whatever it takes to keep me. She even said that she would sign a post-nup stating this. Number 3, as for her friend, she was there during her last breakup and helped to support her through it. My wife went to talk to her after I brought up divorce and talked things out. Her friend suggested that she open the relationship for me, but she said she didn't want me sleeping with strange women, so her friend volunteered herself to be the one that sleeps with me. I don't know about that friend.
Tricky.
I don't know about that friend.
I don't like that.
I don't know about that. My wife thought this was a great idea, which led to the fiasco at her house. I won't comment on her appearance because it doesn't matter, and I don't blame the friend.
Basically, she's hot.
Yeah, he's like, I won't talk about her appearance. That's besides the point. Number 4, my lawyer got back to me. You were all right. I don't need her permission, but I will have to wait if I want to push it through. Number 5, I asked her why she lied to me this entire time, and she said she was tired of being rejected after revealing she was asexual.
Aww.
So she convinced herself that she would be able to force herself to have sex during the relationship. The hormone testing, the sessions in couples therapy, and all of our quote-unquote solutions were just buying her time to find another way around sex or give her enough time to build up the strength to start regularly having sex with me again. Number 6, our conversation ended with us holding each other in bed, crying for a couple of hours. No, we didn't have sex. She pleaded, I would hope not.
Doesn't sound like you would.
She pleaded with me to hold off on the divorce to look for a solution together and left my hotel room. 7, I'm now sitting alone, typing this effing post. I guess I found out that we don't share everything with each other. Thank you to everyone who's messaged me directly. I'm still trying to get to all of them. I don't know what I'm going to do. There are some relevant comments and an update.
This?
Yeah. It's really hard because I feel for both of them.
Let's look up if you can fix asexuality.
No, don't look that up. That is not a thing. No.
Okay, there's nothing you can do.
No. That's just a thing that, who you are. It's your identity.
What do you mean by that?
Like.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, it's who you are.
It's who you are, always trying to fix things.
No, asexuality is like who you are. And again, it's a spectrum. Some asexuals will have sex, some don't have it at all.
It's so tough because relationship, that is a part of it. A part of some. And it seems like it was a part of this, and he had that expectation, which isn't to say that it's wrong, but it does really hurt when she's like gone through this before and trying to find someone who will have a relationship and will accept that, like, who she is. Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard. But there's some relevant comments. This is so sad. Okay. I really hope that they like take a second and don't get divorced and like just
talk a little bit more.
I hope so too.
Relevant comments. How long has the wife known about the divorce? OP said, we lightly touched on the subject 4 months prior to getting served. The final push was when she discovered that she was asexual. I brought up divorce at that time, but she didn't want to talk about it and said she won't consider divorce. I was stonewalled from that specific conversation. I filed anyway. It was the first time she refused to talk to me about any subject. I was surprised since we share literally everything with each other. Is it a medical issue? OP says, if it was a medical issue, I wouldn't have made this post and I'd be by my wife's side right now, but it isn't the case. And this is how I show and feel my love. We only get to do this being a human thing once, and is important to me. Is she depressed? OP says, I don't think she's depressed. I'm sure her therapist would have caught it or she would have told me, but I can't be sure now. Other than things have been normal. I can't imagine that we missed anything. She really did put in a ton of effort. We both did/do. But thank you. I know we'll both be fine, but I figure it's better to do this now before we accidentally have children. She doesn't want to. There is an update though. I don't know how you're gonna have children there.
Yeah. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
the
I
only
don't know.
closest thing I have is that I thought one of my friends in high school were asexual.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to contribute to this.
I have friends who are asexual, and I feel like I think you just kind of have to find someone who will accept that, because there are people out there.
Yeah.
And if someone's prizing over like, their love for you, then they're just not the right person for you.
Not for you.
Yeah. But there's an update, and I feel like it's going to keep getting worse.
Yay. Or better.
Or better.
He becomes
Maybe.
asexual too.
Yeah. After my last update, my wife asked me to meet with her about a week later to discuss things with her. I've been staying at the hotel with an extended stay since the night with a friend. We met at her house and talked for a few hours. She started off with a ton of apologies for how she acted, her lying about her sexuality, and not taking my needs more seriously. Before I could say anything, she presented a signed post-nup agreement she had drafted with a lawyer stating that she doesn't want anything. The house, the cars, savings, everything. I felt like the biggest a-hole for thinking that she was tricking me for more money. That was also pretty messed up that he considered that. He was like, oh, is she trying to do this thing with her friends so that she can steal from me? When it's like so obvious that she was just trying to like keep this relationship going.
Yeah.
I was kind of messed up with him. I asked her if she was serious and she told me to take the post-nup with me and sign it when I'm ready. I still haven't signed it. It's in my backpack. I told her I still think divorce is our best course of action and that we both deserve to find someone who matches our needs. That's true. She still refused and borderline begged me to reconsider. She started crying and so did I. Seeing her like this was devastating. I told her that her finding other women to sleep with me wasn't going to work. What if I develop feelings for them? What if I get one of them pregnant? Did we expect her to get an abortion? She said, we'll figure it out as we go along and to please give her more time to work on other solutions. She set up appointments for hormone therapy and is seeing a guru. I don't think you can. That's I
Set
don't
up
know.
points for.
Yeah.
No,
that's like that. That's who you are, and I feel like she's trying to do it for him, but unfortunately, like you can't change who you are. I said that it sounds like we're going through the same things again, but she was adamant and pleaded with me to wait. There were more apologies on both sides, and we kissed for a while before ending the conversation. Then I went back to my hotel that night. A few days later, I tried texting her, but she didn't respond, so I called her dad. I'm avoiding her mother and sisters since they're saying the same things as my wife. Her dad told me that she moved back home and has been holed up in her room since our talk. She called out of work. He told me that she's barely eating, bathing, or talking to him or her mom. He asked me what I was going to do, but I didn't have an answer for him. He just said he understands and said he would be here to talk anytime I wanted to. So I went back to our house and a good portion of her stuff was gone. The whole place feels empty. I've been sleeping in one of the spare rooms. I'm planning on flying to my mother's house in a couple of weeks to spend time with my family to decompress from this entire situation. I'm still on the divorce side of the fence, but I guess there's no rush. Thank you to everyone for your insight and concern. Seriously, I know we're all strangers, but most of you have been a huge help to my mental health. Seriously, thank you. That's so sad.
That is really
That's
sad.
really sad because they're both I think they're both allowed to have different needs in a relationship, but it is really sad that like she's so desperately, wants to be in this relationship and he still loves her. But yeah.
It's just not, it's just that keeps getting in the way.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
That's really sad.
I don't have any, I mean, she wants to see, have they not done that before?
Yeah, no, they said that they did, but I don't think that's going to solve it. Cause that, again, this is like her identity. And I don't think it's, wise to try and change that part of you.
Yeah, who you are, and
like someone. I think a partner should accept the like all of those like who you are as a person. And it seems like the husband's not able to. So maybe that relationship wasn't right for her.
Divorce.
Seems like they're on the road to it.
Yep.
But you know what we're on the road to?
What's that, Sophia?
This next story. I ruined my parents' relationship over reading mail. Have you ever read anyone's mail that wasn't yours?
No, I have not.
Legally? No.
I have not. I would never, and never have I. Heard it here first.
I really don't know if I trust
like a
that.
trap.
Legally, it's illegal, so.
I would not ever, pleading the fifth, some would
All right.
say.
Oh, some would say. So Dandelion Plant says, I, 24, don't want to say what I do for work, but let's just say it's the type of job that includes a lot of written letters from clients that are supposed to be confidential and only for my eyes. I'm fresh out of college and living with my, what?
I need to know what type of job this is.
I feel like there's a couple jobs that would require some confidentiality.
Chat GPT. Okay. So.
Yeah.
I asked chat, what could her job be? We got 1, therapist, 2, lawyer, 3, private investigator, 4, human resources, 5, medical professionals, 6, executive, 7, financial advisor, 8, diplomat, government official, 9, clergy member, 10, academic advisor. I'm going to go with 8 or...
I think HR.
3.
I feel like
private
HR.
investigator or government official.
Private investigator?
Or government official.
I think HR or government official. Those are my guesses.
I'm going to think they're a private investigator.
Well, I think she's just like pretty young to be a private investigator.
Wow. Ageism. You heard it here first. Sophia hates young people.
Yeah.
She thinks they're incompetent.
Yeah, I'm like,
first,
they don't
everyone.
deserve to be private investigators.
You know what? Ouch.
I said it.
Too bad the boys can't be offended by that.
I'm fresh out of college and living with my parents, so I can finish paying off for school. My work letters, of course, go to my parents' address since they live miles away from a post office, and driving to a P.O. box is a huge pain. The issue started with my father. Ever since high school, when I received mail, my dad would open it. Whenever I received Christmas/birthday cards in the mail with money in them, my dad would hand me the card and insist he'll keep the money safe for me until I demanded he hand it over. Any package I would order for myself, he would open and hand to me. Sometimes the products were used by him as well. My God. The final straw was when he received my acceptance letter to my dream college, and instead of waiting for me to come home to open it, he opened it himself and called me while I was at work to congratulate me. Messed up.
You know what? This guy just likes receiving presents.
He's like, I just want to open things. Yeah, that's crazy. I've spoken to my mother about how much this makes me feel uncomfortable, and she told me she'd speak to my father about it, to which he would apologize and not do it for a week before doing it again the next week. I had also spoken to my dad about the confidentiality of the mail that I would be receiving now that I'm working. And he says he understands, but it all came crashing down a few weeks ago. Uh-oh.
Dad got too excited.
He's like, I have to open it. You're telling me that there's something interesting in there?
I can open it?
Come on.
It is my address.
Yeah, it's my mail. While I was working, my dad came into my room, handed me open envelopes from my clients, and even tried to have a conversation about it with me, but I just ignored him until he got the hint and left. After work, I yelled at him for violating client confidentiality, to which he got defensive and said that I live in his house and any mail sent to his house would be read by him. Furious, the next week I thought I would take revenge on my father by going to the mailbox and reading his mail. But what I found was what ended my relationship with him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What do you find? What do you
But
find?
I see you in the comments. But I see you in the comments.
What do you think he found?
Cheating. Cheating.
Wow.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. The mail that he keeps opening.
Like he's getting love letters from his mistress?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, she's been sending him like 2-page love letters because there's no, actually, no, those are pretty easily traceable. Why is he checking all of the mail?
It's kind of important.
I don't know. I feel like there's something going on. What do you think it is?
What would a mistress send? Honestly, I don't even think it was cheating. I think it was like he's up to like some sketchy business. And since she's a private investigator, she's like, I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this.
That's
You've
what
ended
it is.
our relationship. You think it's not cheating? You think it's like, what's the word? Fraud. Embezzlement, fraud, all that jazz. I think that actually could also be it.
I think it's it.
I agree. I had found credit card statements on jewelry and restaurants that were too fancy for my dad to go to alone, and I don't remember the last time my dad took my mom on a date nor bought her any jewelry. So she found statements like receipts on these things. I think the parents are still together.
Okay. I thought she was at her dad's place.
No. They're still together. That's why she's like, oh my, who's this for? I also found a letter addressed to my dad from a woman who stated how tired she was for hiding this relationship for so long and how she's so desperate for his letters to reach her. I was right.
What?
Oh my God. Why are they communicating over like letters? What is this?
Snail mail.
What is this 1800s?
Honestly, it's not trackable. If they don't get in the wrong hands, it's not trackable.
As long as no one finds the letters though. Like that's like
this or Snapchat. And I doubt he knows how to use Snapchat.
He does not know it. Yeah. I feel like those are like if he's having to do so much to hide it. Like he's running around opening everyone's letters to make sure that it's not his letter from his side lady. When my dad noticed the mailbox was empty, my dad ran back in the house as white as a ghost. He walked into the kitchen to see me and my mom in the kitchen reading his mail. Before the fighting could start, my mom asked me to leave the house. So I drove to my aunt's who lived 45 minutes away and explained everything. I came back after 2 days when my dad's stuff was gone. My mom told me my dad's living in a hotel and she will be in contact with a divorce lawyer.
Ooh.
Turns out my dad has been having an affair with a family friend. Oh my God. And we're hiding it through letters to leave no digital footprint. Yikes. My dad ended up showing my mom the stash of letters he had, and she took photos of each and every single letter before she asked him to leave. I feel at fault because I at first wanted to be petty with my dad, but it unraveled into this huge event and made me think, no wonder he's been looking through my stuff. He was giving himself away. I feel like I've shattered my mom's world since I can hear her cry every night since the incident. And there are some top comments and an update.
It was the dad's fault.
It was the dad's fault. That
he
wasn't you.
shouldn't have opened the mail.
Yeah, no, that wasn't you. I feel like OP's trying, like, kind of blaming herself, but that's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Absolutely not. Like, he's cheating.
You get an award
for truthfulness.
There you go. Yeah. Do that.
There are some top comments. Jilly Jills 42 says, "You didn't ruin your parents' marriage. Your father ruined it."
Nice.
No wonder he was so controlling. Also, don't know if you're in the US, but it's a crime to open someone else's mail. It's not your fault that he's a bad person. Just be glad your mother doesn't have to put up with his BS anymore. So true. Get him out of your life. Get him out of there.
That is that makes sense why his mail.
Why he was so obsessive with the mail. He's like, I need to know every mail that's coming into the house. OP responds, "I will be pursuing a case about this. Thank you so much. I already spoke to my work about it." And then XXSKSXX says, "You didn't ruin your parents' relationship. Your dad having an affair ruined it. You just found out about it and gave your mom the chance to make an informed decision with all the facts on whether she wanted to be in a marriage with a cheater." Yeah, these people aren't telling facts. Scotty Budget 1533 says that maybe her dad took her birthday money to pay for his secret life. Oh, wait, because...
How long has this affair been happening?
Well, because he was saying that when she was younger, she would get birthday money and he would take it from her. And then when she would have to demand him that he give it back. So maybe he was taking some of that money.
Wow.
Awesome One Forever says his insane mail rule wasn't about invading your privacy. That was a bonus for him. It was about covering his for as long as possible. Facts. He did it to himself. And there is an update.
Wow. This is
getting crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're leaving this dad because he sucks. He's a stinky guy. That's a fact.
Stench.
The stench wafts off him. But there's an update, so let's get into it. Thank you all so much. I wrote this all out last night, drunk off my mind, and I never expected this much kindness from strangers. I'll go ahead and answer a few questions here and then give an update. Number 1. Was my dad using my money from the gifts to buy stuff for his mistress? I'm 50-50 on this answer. I received cards when I was younger with money, and it was the same routine. Aunts and uncles would give me $100 per card, and my dad always gave them to me when I was younger. $100 per card?
Did you get hundreds growing up?
Not as a child.
Yeah.
I got like $20.
I always get like hundreds, and my mom would keep them put in the bank for me.
What the heck?
Yeah.
I
got a lot of savings.
That's so messed up.
That I have no idea about.
That's great. I love that for you. Yeah. I did not get hundreds growing up. No.
Wow.
I get them at like, I got them at my 21st birthday and my graduation party, but because I was graduating.
Yeah, I get like 100. Probably get like 400 or 500s.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Love that for you. As I got older, obviously the money reduced to $20 to $40. I do believe my dad would give me back half my money in those cards back, which would make sense as to how he was able to make such huge expenses on his mistress. I need to collect proper evidence, so I plan on calling my aunts and uncles and other relatives who would send me money. So he's literally stealing his kids' money. That's whack. Number 2, the mistress would send letters addressed as a business or a credit card company. If you asked me, they were doing the most. When my mom would check the mail, she would see the letters that were addressed to my dad as bills or some crazy BS and never open them because she doesn't handle the bills. A lot of packages were sent by the mistress as well, which is why he went through my packages, and I don't want to imagine what kind of crap she was mailing him. And now for the update, the long-awaited update. Yeah.
What do you think's gonna happen?
I think that the mom and the dad are gonna divorce, and they're gonna go no contact. It's my idea.
Only reasonable thing they could do.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally cheating and stealing their mail. Like I said before, it's been a few weeks since it happened. I've been doing my best to comfort my mother while she deals with all the legal business and my dad's constant appeals to my mom to apologize and beg for forgiveness. Too little, too late. I've been listening to her, and she keeps spiraling between wanting to forgive him and cursing him to hell. I told her my own personal opinion, which was to never take back a cheater. She did basically everything for him, and she shouldn't see it as her not being enough for him. That's his fault for not appreciating her. So true. Not you didn't cause your cheater husband to cheat. He did that on his own. The mistress also was a married woman. Oh God, 2 relationships. Yikes. My mom reached out to, and this is also the family friend. I forgot. Ooh, messy. My mom reached out to her husband, sending him the letters she had taken photos of.
Oh.
Even had a long phone call with him about what was going on. He initiated the divorce, and the mistress is now angry at my father for not being more careful. Yikes, that is not the takeaway.
Oh, man.
The mistress's ex-husband, who I'll call Henry, has been a best friend of my mom's throughout the legal cases. I hear the mistress is still reaching out to forgive him, which I honestly think is very funny since my dad is doing the same thing. Wait, what? They're forgiving the people they cheated on? Weird. She was financially dependent on Henry, and my dad isn't making enough at his job to support the lifestyle she wants. Yesterday, Henry asked my mom to come out to lunch with him. They've been sad shut-ins for the past few days, and they agreed to go get some fresh air. I encouraged my mom to do such and to call me if my dad or the mistress decided to show face when they went, just so I could pick her up. My dad hasn't apologized to me at all about reading my mail. In fact, he's called me and left me voicemails telling me that this whole situation was my fault. How does he gather that? Then going and crying, saying he regrets everything and he hopes he can still be my dad. I honestly don't know what to do with him right now, other than ignore him. I don't know if there will be another update, but I will if something major happens. I hope some of what I said clears things up for you all. Whoa. That's a lot.
That's insane. A lot. It's your fault.
It's your fault.
It's your fault that you found it. Dude, the main point of the story was like, stop reading my mail. Still hasn't gotten the hint.
He still hasn't. No, he's like, it's not my fault. I had to do it to cheat on my wife. So really, who's the victim here? Yeah, no, this guy sucks. He abandoned his family. OP, I feel bad for OP. Yeah. Those are my takeaways.
Those are your takeaways.
Those are my takeaways. I feel bad. This sucks.
Don't read other people's mail.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't do it. It's illegal.
I love that. Don't love, but it's funny how the mistress found a way to communicate to him.
Yeah, she was like, we need to do it over mail.
This is the way they used to back in the day.
Yeah, they're like, we must communicate through carrier pigeon to talk about cheating.
What's your carrier pigeon's name?
Gerald.
Wilson.
Oh, it's just your last name.
Yeah, call him Wilson.
Wow.
Just a good pigeon name.
Just a good pigeon name. You know those types of names that like really strike you as pigeon names.
That's a good one.
That's how they do.
Like Henry.
Henry the pigeon?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that a pigeon name?
So proper.
Henry.
Or
Philip.
Gregory?
No, I feel like Philip.
Yeah, I want to name my kid
pigeon.
Philip.
Am I the a-hole for initiating a divorce while my wife is in the hospital after a car accident?
Ooh, baby.
That's called timing, my friends. And this comes from Mediocre Blue Jay 555, who says, my wife had 2 kids before we got married, and they have an actively involved father. We have had 2 children of our own. My wife is a terrible driver, but she refuses to acknowledge this. She has been in multiple accidents and even had her license suspended, not for a DUI or anything, just because she's a crappy driver.
Oh my God.
That's not great.
That's, yeah. Stay off the road.
Stay off the road. Get a chauffeur.
Or, use public transport.
True.
Depending on where you are.
Love that. She will do stuff like reach into the back seat to deal with the kid rather than.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining she's like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
I don't know about you guys. That was always like the most terrifying thing.
Well, when you're
in
watching
childhood.
Yeah, especially or like when I'm watching movies where characters are in a car and they start looking at the person next to them, and I just immediately think that there's about to be a car crash.
Yes, same.
And sometimes there's not. Sometimes they're just like having a conversation. I'm like, look at the road.
Yeah,
Keep your eyes on the road.
same. A lot of car scenes,
Yeah.
I feel like a car accident's about to happen. I just look away.
Yeah, and they don't actually have a car accident. They're just like trying to have a conversation with the other character, and I'm like, this is not safe.
I was talking about like basically getting in trouble and your parents like look at you in the rearview mirror, like turn around.
Oh.
I never even considered that. Now I'm gonna think about that all the time. We had a conversation about this the other day about airplanes, but I digress. I friggin' digress. We got a story to read. So she will do stuff like reach in the back seat to deal with a kid rather than pull over or let me or one of the older kids deal with it. She got T-boned in August of last year because she took her foot off the brake at a red light to pick up my son's soother pacifier, I believe, that had fallen out. Thank you, Sophia.
You got it.
She didn't put the car in park.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, only she was injured.
Oh my God.
Only her was hurt. Thank God. She was.
Oh,
it was
Lord.
terrible for her, but it was great.
Lord.
Her or the kid? Which one would you pick?
I mean, it was her fault.
I mean, if you have to pick one, well,
Presumably,
I guess kids
she's
heal
a little.
fast.
That's true. I was about to say, I was like, she could heal faster, but no.
Yeah, no, like adults, but
Yeah, but still.
the adult, I guess.
Yeah, the person at fault. I
Yeah.
mean, if anyone has to get hurt.
If it's someone.
Preferably no one.
If it's
gets
a
hurt.
crazy hypothetical. So thankfully, only she was injured. All 4 kids were in the car. I've had it. I told her that she is welcome to endanger herself and her kids.
Oh my God.
Yoinks. But that if I am in the car or if our children are in the car, she will keep her eyes on the road and her hands on the steering wheel.
Wait, hold up. How long have they been married? Because I feel like those kids should be his kids now.
Yeah, like what's going on here? So my wife had 2 kids before we got married, and they have an actively involved father. We have 2 children. of our own.
Okay. So he probably doesn't have as close of a relationship with them. But still, I mean, like,
Possibly not.
just say you're welcome to endanger yourself, but don't endanger the kids.
Yeah.
I probably would have said it like that.
Like I feel like just any children.
Any children shouldn't be
Period.
endangered.
Because that's typically what you say. You're like, listen, if you want to be crazy in a way that endangers
Yeah.
yourself, I can't stop you, but don't endanger other people.
Yeah.
At large, children, adult, anything like that.
Anyone's children should not be endangered, preferably.
She is finally at the point in her physical rehab, I believe, where she can drive again. I reminded her of what I said. I told her that I loved her. I said that her older kids were important to me.
Not that important, I guess.
Yeah. And that I loved them too. But I told her that if she ever decided to do some stupid crap while driving, our relationship would be over. And I would make it part of our divorce that she would not be allowed to drive my kids in the car.
Someone said, I didn't see who it was, but someone said she should get a Tesla. And then I can drive her.
That's true. We've seen how it's worked for Sam.
Yeah.
So he is still alive.
He is
For now.
still alive.
For now.
Save our boy.
Yeah.
She started crying and said she didn't do it on purpose. I asked her how exactly she took her hands off the wheel, took off her seatbelt, and took her foot off the brake and turned around to pick up the pacifier by accident. She said that I'm treating her like an idiot.
It's not treating you like an idiot. You just...
She said it, not me.
Ew.
I don't think I am. My children have to be safe. Look,
Yeah.
when it comes to the point where children are in danger,
Yeah.
people's feelings are kind of
Irrelevant.
Oh yeah, there you go. Before you ask, I try and do as much of the driving as I possibly can. I have stopped drinking when we go out. I traded in my car that I loved for an SUV so there's room for all of us. I offered to pay for Uber so she didn't have to actually drive if I wasn't available, which is a fantastic solution if they have it available.
Great. Yeah.
She actually likes driving. Why?
No.
If you can have someone pay for your Uber, why?
It's like if she like loved cooking, but she also burnt the house down every time she.
Yeah. She
Like,
just
"Oh, I
starts
love
a
it."
fire
Yeah.
that burns.
There's
the
always a
ceiling every time.
fire. She's like, no, but I love it.
Sophia, if you had a magical curse where you lit the ceiling on fire every time, would you give up cooking? See? Got him. Her ex and her parents are on my side. He also told her that if she ever thinks about endangering his kids, and he would either go for full custody
Whoa.
or ask that she be barred from driving with his kids in the car.
Whoa. The ex is on his side too.
Because
Because he's endangering his kids.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's protecting
Everyone's
the
kids are being endangered.
except for the wife. Hide your kids from your wife because she's driving out here. That was pretty good. Her gotta pat myself on the back sometimes. Her parents have threatened to stop helping her pay for her stupid high insurance premiums. Her car insurance premium is so
Through
high.
the roof.
Her parents have nice. Like through the roof, like of a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a saying.
that her parents have to pay for it. This woman has like
Yeah.
4 children. Well, I guess
Yeah.
she could use any financial aid she can get.
Yeah.
But we do have some relevant comments, but I'm going to stop right here. So basically, again, to break it down, basically a ultimatum, a structure, a deal, if you will, of like, hey, if you keep driving my kids and putting them in danger, I'm going to divorce you. Oh, and as part of the divorce, make it so that way you can't drive my kids at all.
Yeah. I think that's fair because she's actively endangering the kids, and yeah, there should be consequences for that.
Yeah, I think this is something that's like one, the wife has proved that she cannot be trusted with this because it's happened like over and over. Everyone in the family acknowledges it.
Yeah. Even the ex. Everyone's on the same page except for her.
Exactly. So I think she's like kind of like lost that right. 2, there is a perfectly reasonable alternative of her being driven everywhere.
Yeah.
In Ubers.
There's already another option that she refused.
Like there's a perfect option. So it's like it can on the surface seem kind of biting. And I was like, okay, let me take a second to think about it. Cause it's like the dude is like, divorce, if you won't stop driving, I'll divorce you. But actually,
yeah,
it's really,
yeah, I think it is reasonable given the fact that she has been in multiple car accidents with the kids in the car.
Yeah.
And in OP's mind, he's like, either I divorce her or something worse happens to my kids. They get in an accident that they don't walk out of.
It's like if someone is like addicted to like climbing mountains or skyscrapers and they keep like falling and hurting themselves, and you're like, I'm gonna leave you if you don't stop doing this. It's like it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
You don't need to do. And given now, if OP couldn't afford the Ubers, like okay, maybe a different scenario had to happen, but it's there.
It's that option.
The solution
open.
is right in front of our freaking faces.
Yeah.
But guys, there's more. We got some relevant comments from the story. So, first relevant comment from Jaguar Zealous Deal 55, who says she started crying. This is, I believe, quoting the story. She started crying and said she did do it on purpose. I asked her how exactly she took her hands off the wheel, took off her seatbelt, took her foot off the brake, turned around to pick up the pacifier by accident. She said, I'm treating her like an idiot. I don't think I am. My children have to be safe.
So it doesn't matter if you didn't do it on purpose or not. You can like
the consequences are
end
still
someone's life not on purpose, and you still have to own up to it.
The consequences are what matters here, not the intention or whatever else behind it. Jaguar says, well, what does she expect? She is behaving like an idiot, to be honest. Her intention, doing it on purpose or not, is not relevant here. Boom. She shouldn't be driving at all since she's putting other people at risk, but clearly she shouldn't drive the children. This at least you can demand. And last, Baron says, there comes a point where intentionality as a concept sort of breaks down. Yes, maybe she's having the subjective experience of not feeling like she's doing it on purpose. I don't know. But she has been presented with such an overwhelming amount of evidence and testimony from her own family that her actions are endangering herself and her kids, that any reasonable person, and plenty of unreasonable ones, would have gotten the message. If she doesn't believe it, then it's on her. In a way, it's actually worse if a person is so deeply delusional that this degree of evidence is available and she still doesn't feel at fault, she's just straight up dangerous and probably in way more scenarios than just this one.
Mm-hmm. This is why you get, arrested if you text while you're driving.
Exactly.
Distracted driving.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, there's some people that drive distracted. There's some people that don't secure themselves safely when they drive.
People don't wear their seatbelts.
Some people don't wear their seatbelts while they're driving. How far do you have to be to not see that your actions are causing this? What else in your life are you this delusional about? Yeah, if it what else is there? Is this
have consequences?
Is this the the glass breaking?
Yeah.
That causes OP to see oh, actually there's a ton of stuff
this is a pattern, not just, an exception.
Janet in Spain says you're treating her like an idiot because now, hear me out here, she's an idiot. There it is. What mature, responsible adult pulls that crap while driving? If losing her license and being in multiple accidents isn't enough to show her that she has a serious problem, I doubt your threat will either. Every time she does one of these stupid actions, she is intentionally harming her kid or potentially harming. She could have fixed this long ago. She's just too lazy and in denial to do anything about it, which is crazy because the solution is the laziest thing ever. Have other people drive you. You and her ex should both put your foot down. No more driving unless she is the only person in the car, period. No exceptions. Any breach of this agreement will be grounds for leaving. By giving her chances, you're continuing to endanger your kids. Not the a-hole, but don't let this slide. But there's more to the story. So first off, the judgment was not the a-hole on this story so far. So getting into this update, which is 7 weeks later, my wife was involved in a single vehicle accident. She was seriously injured, but thank goodness no one else was in the car with her. I have spoke to her about her driving habits and I warned her. I went to see her in the hospital and then I went to a lawyer. Here we go. Wait, so this is...
So she was in a car accident. And
another
she was seriously
one.
Injured. Another car accident.
I thought he was talking about the first one
where she was probably unbuckled.
I am also going for full custody with only supervised visitation for her. I am sick to death of her driving habits and I will not wait for her to injure or one of our kids with her BS. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for doing this while she's in the hospital and facing charges, but I can't take any more chances on her.
Starting at the initial, our initial decision based off the title, he really won me over. I was very against OP based off the title. And
horrendous title.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he sucks. But no, contextually,
you're
fully on his side.
Divorce your wife while she's in the hospital. Yeah. I mean, he and I think what OP did, he said it point blank clear. I am going to divorce you if this happens again. If you drive our kids again, let alone get in an accident, which she did.
Were the kids in the car for this accident?
Let me double check.
I think either way, it doesn't really make a difference of whether or not he would divorce her.
Yes.
But yeah.
My wife was involved in a single vehicle accident. She was seriously injured, but thank goodness no one else was within the car. So the kids were not in there. Yeah. Still, it's like you're still being reckless. You're still getting in accidents. Thank God. Honestly, this is now legally she won't be able to.
Legally, she will not be able to drive.
Why would you be so fixated on this?
I don't understand.
As the wife,
is there something going on with her?
Yeah. Is there some sort of is there some sort of mental fixation?
Yeah.
Does
she need to go to the doctor for this?
Get true medical treatment to because it is at the point where it's like you're literally throwing your life away. Yeah. Your marriage to your husband, your children,
your life
for driving.
Yeah.
When you could be chauffeured everywhere.
Yeah. If I was cooking and every time I cooked, I horrendously burned myself and my other option was someone would make me food every day.
For free?
Yeah.
For you? Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the option of the Uber.
What about, you don't get burned every time, but basically the flames go crazy. Like you're in a like near burn, near injury experience every time, but sometimes you get injured, sometimes you don't.
Okay, yeah. And my other option is someone pays for me to eat or like cooks for me every night.
Or,
Easy.
Okay. If we're going by that, let's say you use the washing machine and your clothes isn't working, but whenever your friend does it, it works perfectly.
Yep.
Shouldn't someone do your laundry then?
What a setup, Riley.
I'm just saying, if we're going
Did you
by that
break the
logic,
washing machine again?
So little story. Our washing machine's been broken every time I use it. Don't know why. No clue.
It's literally every time Riley uses it.
So if we're going by that logic, someone should then do my laundry so it doesn't break.
But no one's offered that. In this scenario, someone's offered to cook me.
If anything, if we're following your logic, it should be someone should just press the button to start it.
Yeah.
I've asked people to do that and they still won't do it.
Well, because
I don't trust your clothes.
What do you mean my clothes?
They've got like bad vibes, you know?
Ouch. No, I really like my clothes.
No,
I think
there's
your
nothing
clothes are
wrong
great.
with your clothes, but the vibes of your clothes don't mesh with the.
I feel like saying the vibes of
Washing
your clothes are
machine.
bad is equivalent to saying that your clothes are bad.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no. Like the
vibes of your clothes are colorful. How do you
No,
feel
that's
about
not
that?
what I mean. I'm saying that the vibes of your clothes don't mesh with the washing machine.
Oh, my clothes in the washing machine have bad vibes?
Yes.
You just said that. You just said my clothes
The
have bad
spiritual,
vibes.
the
Okay, well, I meant-
spiritual aura
Yeah,
of
yes.
the washing machine and the
And
clothes,
your clothes don't match
align.
up. That's what I'm saying.
So maybe someone should
Okay,
help
is
me
this
by
important?
putting them in there.
It is so important. No, just kidding.
Oh boy.
Yes. So
Yes, I heard a yes. Cool.
getting back to it, we're in agreement with OP doing this.
Yeah.
That's
Is
yeah.
that the end of the story?
We do have a few quick relevant comments, so let's close this
Yep.
bad
And
boy
then we
out.
have someone that would like to give their peace of mind.
Oh, let's go.
Wow.
Excited for that. So, comments. M Joker says, not the a-hole. I remember your last post, protect yourself and your kids. OP, I can't believe it happened this quickly. I'm glad none of the kids were with her. M Joker says in response, I definitely understand that. Has she said anything about this new accident? Realized that she has a problem. If I remember right, she was very upset about you stating that she should not drive with the kids in the car anymore. OP, she left some paperwork in the back seat, so she parked. Then she went to grab it. Unfortunately, she left the car in gear and stepped on the gas and drove into a canal by the mall. I'm just done. Wow. Stuffer Knee says, so even after she caused the accident last time, reaching for the pacifier, she still managed to do nearly the same maneuver, reaching in the back seat for something without ensuring the car is properly parked and causing another accident. She's a lost cause. They need to permanently take away her license, which I totally agree with, by the way.
Yeah.
She's a danger to herself and every single person on the road, pedestrian or driver. Not the a-hole OP. Keep your kids safe. Let the ex-husband know your plans and the situation as well. I'm sure he's going to want to push forward on his custody fight as well after this. If her parents are still on your side, make sure to keep their line open for the kids too. And a friendle says, not the a-hole. You told her what you needed from her to keep your marriage intact and give you peace of mind. The consequences of ignoring you is on her.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Agreed.
I think I'm feeling the same, but you know who
Agreed.
might not be feeling the same is this caller,
Whoa.
this spam community member. Do we know who we're talking with?
Yes.
Yes.
Love Bubbles.
Love Bubbles. Let's freaking go.
Hello, Love Bubbles.
Love Bubbles.
No.
Hey, what's good? Okay, so
It's so weird because the video's lagging, so I can't even see that you're calling it.
Oh, no.
okay, but you can hear us. Everything's good.
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
Everything's
Oh,
good.
and if you're watching the YouTube lags. I would probably actually shut that off. It might get complexing to the brain. So, talking about the story, OP made the ultimatum and followed through with the promise of, hey, if you get into a wreck, I will divorce you. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with that. Like at some points, it's like sometimes you're just real tired and it's just that kind of day. But at that point to do it over and over and over again, like she's just not connecting like, hey, this is a moving vehicle. Stop.
Yeah.
And like, let's take like a less serious scenario. Let's say you have a partner and they are doing something maybe less severe, like endangering the lives of your children, but still like, you know, annoying, frustrating, something you don't want them to do. What do you think is like a good approach to go to your partner and say like, hey, I want you to stop doing this? Do you like do almost like a light ultimatum where if like, hey, if you keep doing this, then, you know, we'll break it off? Or like, what do you think is a good approach generally for like approaching a partner with something like this?
Definitely OP did the good thing about talking to them about it first.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to talk to them multiple times, but definitely communication is top. It's key. Ultimatums are hard, but at that point, OP really had to do one. Like, it wasn't even just her life at risk. It was consistently happening for some reason with kids in the car.
Yeah.
And it was just weird to see that. I mean, I'm a child who just happened to be in like 97% of my mom's car accidents, somehow surviving. I don't know if that was the universe saying, hey, we like you, or dang, we missed.
Hopefully,
The first one.
yeah, definitely the first one. I was also about to say, hopefully this story was not with you involved.
Oh no, this wasn't my story.
Very good. Okay, that's
good
great.
on those kids for still kicking it, but
There we go. Let's go.
honestly, it's definitely important that you talk to your partner, because partner, friend, sometimes dog, all the things in between, like, these are lives. And
Yeah.
even just an ultimatum. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Riley had put up something in the community post and in Discord, like, hey, what are your biggest pet peeves? This, or this. And it's just like, pet peeves get really, really frustrating to the point that it's just like, all right, stop or I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly a thing of like, it might not be the pet peeve itself of like, you know, leaving dishes out or whatever. It's really the respect of like, hey, if your partner comes to you, communicates like, hey, this is something that bothers me, and there's like at least not like signs of improvement and like working on it and like actually caring. That's like just disrespecting your partner at the end of the day at that point.
100%.
So
Exactly.
yeah, good
And
point.
just imagine if in Sophia's case, just your sibling doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm sure by now, like, Sam would have a shoe print on his head if he kept doing something over and over again to annoy Sophia.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen, you guys don't want the smoke with Sophia.
You don't want it.
That's what I'm telling you. Love Bubbles, it was lovely chatting with you. Thanks for chatting, and have a great rest of your day.
I do have one question.
Okay, go ahead, Riley.
Love Bubbles,
Yes.
your Discord profile pic is you and a rooster. Do you have a pet rooster?
I do not. I have pet quails, but that was the closest thing I could find, and they're much quieter than a rooster,
Yeah.
but it matches for the parakeet.
Have you eaten, like, people eat like quail eggs, right? Have you eaten a quail egg?
I
your
have
own?
not. My mom is on that road where she like lives by it, just saying like, it's amazing, you have to try it. But I'm like, Mom, they're staring at me. I can't do this.
They're judging
I can't
me.
do it. Wow, that's incredible. Well, Love Bubbles, thank you so much for chatting with me. Great to put a voice to the name for such an incredible community member. So thanks for chatting.
Thank you. Thank you. Until next time.
Of
All
course.
right, bye.
See ya. Bye.
My husband dumped the kids on me at a family party, so I'm dumping him. Also, I'm really proud of that title. I made that. And this is to answer the question of when is a breakup necessary. Also, by the way, you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just tap our profile. So, a non-throwaway 0868271 says, I have no one to talk about this, and I need help. I, age 35 female, have been with my husband, 35 male, for 15 plus years. I'm a stay-at-home mom. We recently went to a family party, and my husband left all childcare responsibilities on me, and I'm considering asking for a trial separation. Our relationship started going downhill about 2 years ago. We've always had a good relationship up until my husband started resenting me. He was working a really stressful job, 60 plus hours a week, and I was newly pregnant with our second child and on progesterone.
Progesterone.
Okay. Which made the exhaustion 1,000 times worse. I was in survival mode. It was a good day if I kept my other child and myself fed. He began to resent me because I wasn't doing any housework. I would lay on the bathroom floor all day, so this led to him stonewalling me with whenever conflict would arise, which is hard for me because I only speak to a 2 and a 6-year-old all day. So to have the only adult I interact with ignore me for days, sometimes weeks, was mentally damaging. That is not okay to do that to your partner. Also, I mean, I don't think as an adult you should be, you should be able to communicate with the important people in your life, any sort of relationship you have, whether it's friends, family, or a partner. You should not be ignoring them, especially when you have children.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's not cool, dude.
Yeah. We've been trying to work through this issue for the past 2 years. After many discussions and fights, some every other week, he came up with their conflict resolution plan, which is to 1, bring up issues immediately without waiting. 2, do not behave differently for a reaction or response. 3, acknowledge conflict without defensiveness. And 4, resolve conflict immediately. We both agreed to this plan. I will be upfront and say that I'm a terrible communicator. I avoid confrontation at all cost. I tend to get emotional, which causes me to get frustrated because I can't communicate my feelings properly. I know my husband sees this as a weakness. In the past, he's accused me that I use my emotions to try to garner sympathy and play the victim. Oh boy. So sometimes when things bug me, I suppress them instead of bringing them up. Fast forward to this past weekend. His family throws a big annual party, which I was really looking forward to. Family members flew into town that we don't ever get to see, and I was really looking forward to seeing them and hanging out as I don't get to talk to many people. My friends all work full time and have families of their own, so we text, but we don't get together much. They have a playset that is super far back in their yard from the patio and cornhole tournament that everyone was enjoying. This playset is for bigger kids and has a big slide with a blow-up pool at the bottom. My almost 2-year-old boy absolutely loves this playset, but he's a daredevil and has zero fear and needs to be watched literally constantly. Almost immediately while getting there, I followed my kids to the playset while my husband got to talk and mingle. Ah, no. He's putting all of this on her. He's putting all of the childcare on her. So not only does she not have an adult to talk to in him, but he's also not allowing her to talk to any of the adults at the party because she has to be stuck on childcare.
He's like, this came out of you. It's your problem.
Yeah, no, he sucks. Duchess Kasana says, oh boy, OP, leave. And asked, Trash Queen says, oh, so he's gaslighting her too. Yeah, the fact that he's saying like, oh, you always use your emotions to win arguments when it seems like she's like constantly not bringing stuff up because of that is, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I hate it when my partner uses her emotions in arguments. It's like, stop, just leave those to the side. Just push them down.
Yeah,
they don't matter.
You shouldn't have emotions. Stop having emotions.
Just get rid of them, please. They're so annoying.
Yeah. Then they set up the tournament and my husband started running it and playing DJ. Meanwhile, it's 80 degrees and my kid is going non-stop on this playset up and down the dangerous ladder with wet, slippery feet. I caught him twice when he fell off. Oh my God, this kid's crazy. I'm getting more and more frustrated being so far removed and hearing everyone talk and laugh and joke. When it was my turn to play around, my mother-in-law came over to watch the kids, so I was excited for a break. Finally, someone's helping OP, should be her husband, but there were a lot of kids there and a lot going on, so when I was done and came over to see how things were going, I didn't see my kid and said, "Where's the baby?" My mother-in-law was holding the other toddler and talking to someone else, and we realized mine was already up in the fort, so he went up the ladder with zero supervision. This gave me anxiety and I felt I couldn't leave with so many distractions and risk him getting hurt. When it was my turn to play again, he managed to run around the corner of the house. Oh, play cornhole. So OP is going back and forth between playing cornhole and trying to watch her kid. When it was my turn to play again, he managed to run around the corner of the house with no one seeing, and thank God only went into the garage and not the street. Eventually, the adults all went inside to play a board game. My husband then came out and walked over to me and asked if I needed a break. I was flabbergasted because at this point, it had been close to 4 hours of me watching him nonstop, with the exception of 2 rounds of cornhole.
Ooh.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. This is when you employ your nieces and nephews.
Yes.
I mean, obviously the husband should be doing parenting. Absolutely. But if he sucks, employ your nieces and nephews.
I'll probably time it just right where my nieces and nephews are like 10 or teenagers by the time I have kids. It'll
Yeah.
be perfect.
That's what I did. I was always the babysitter, but I liked it because I love kids.
You'll be a good mom.
Thank you. Where was I? I have a feeling the only reason he came out to ask me if I needed a break was someone asked him if I needed a break. Probably the mother-in-law or someone who saw him not doing anything. I had no words for him and just walked away. I didn't want to cause a scene at a family gathering. We moved the kids inside, which was more manageable, and yet my husband got to play the board game while I chased our kids, trying to get them to eat, change him, etc. So I guess I never got a break. Wait, so he asked her if she needed a break and then didn't actually give her a break?
Fake break.
Oh, someone earlier said
Psych.
she's already single, which is so true.
Yeah.
My
He has
God.
to handle 3 kids.
Yeah, him too.
My mom says she has 5 kids. I have 3 brothers. Do the math.
Who's number? Oh, you're number 4. I was
No, I'm 4. And then
Yeah. I was like, who's number 4 and 5? But you're number 4. Then it was time to leave, and I realized I hardly got to talk anymore.
touch your kids. That counts. Don't do that. Don't go down the slide.
Oh, please. I was so sad and devastated. I know it sounds like an effing pathetic thing to be devastated about, but no, we've already established that Opie hasn't had any adult interactions because she's been so busy taking care of her kids for.
Oh, she wanted adult interaction.
Yeah, she wanted adult interaction. That was the whole point. She was like, my husband is ignoring me, and now I finally get to have an adult interaction, and he doesn't even give me a break.
What if he bodied you through these interactions? He's like, I'm going to be my wife now. And then boom.
Yeah, he was like, I'm channeling you. Don't worry. Kimberly Fine says, he said the words, though. That the thought counts, right? Yeah.
The thought
boy.
counts.
Oh, my God. On the way home, my husband said, wow, that was a great party, right? Deck him. He's done. Kick him out of the car. I bit my tongue because I didn't want to say anything with our 6-year-old in the car, and I was honestly so mentally exhausted that I almost fell asleep on the 15-minute drive home. I hate this guy. When we got home, I went immediately upstairs to sleep. I swear to God, if he wakes her up, I'm gonna freak out on him.
I'm going to flip.
I'm gonna freaking flip out. It was 6 p.m. We had got to the party at 11:15, and I had a migraine and was
Oh.
exhausted.
What? That's late.
That's a long day.
A migraine?
Yoicks. The next morning, I was furious, but again, didn't want to say anything in front of our kids. At least he didn't wake her up. I planned to speak to my husband at nap time that afternoon while our older one was in her room for quiet time. When that happened, my husband was eating lunch and watching YouTube, and I walked up and said, I'm really frustrated and upset about yesterday. Can we talk? He said,
I got to wait till this Dude Perfect video is done.
yeah, he's like, I'm watching YouTube.
Watching Mr. Beast crush his car.
He said, oh, now you want to talk after ignoring me for a day?
Get his side. Let's see this side.
Ah!
What does he got to say?
I wouldn't believe a thing that he said. I don't care if she was ignoring him because he's not helping with the kids.
Maybe, but she might have. Maybe
I
he
don't
went to go
trust
get
him.
eye contact and she went, who knows? I'm curious what he has to say.
I don't trust him. I said I was mentally and physically exhausted after yesterday and needed to cool off and was waiting for the kids to be in quiet time. He immediately accused me of not following our conflict resolution plan of bringing up issues immediately. So I think what he's maybe saying, if I'm reading this correctly, is that she ignored him after the party, but she was exhausted and had a migraine and went to sleep.
Yeah, and low key, he's using therapy talk.
Yeah.
Well, what did he say? He said conflict.
Oh, he's like, you're not
Resolution
using her. They
plan?
had a plan they had talked about always bringing up when they are upset. However,
Kind of low key weaponizing it.
yes, I agree. He's like, oh, he's gaslighting her about this.
He agreed.
No, I think he is absolutely weaponizing.
No, I'm
And-
just shocked. Like you said, you agree with me.
I do.
Wow. No, go on.
Okay. when you say something I agree with it.
But sometimes we do agree, but you like act like we don't, and then we come around full circle when we do agree.
Okay. Well, I shorthand agree with you right now.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, no, he's using this thing that they've devised to communicate better and weaponizing it by putting all of this stuff on her, saying, oh, like, why didn't you talk to me, when she was clearly just burnt out from taking care of their kids all day. And also someone said earlier, which I missed the comment, but said like it's better that she didn't just lash out at him and waited until she could communicate effectively without being angry. I think that is important. I think that if you know about if you're able to realize that when you are like angry about like an issue or something, or if someone upsets you and you're angry, that you're not going to be able to communicate effectively without like yelling or something.
Oh shit, a migraine.
Yeah, I think knowing that about yourself, it is a way better response to just take a minute for yourself and then come to the conversation.
Yeah, and I read a little bit, and it looks like she kind of caved in pretty easily.
Oh, let's keep reading. I apologized and said, you're right. No, I should have said something this morning, but I waited for quiet time. No,
I waited for a great time to talk about it.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry.
Waited until we weren't going to fight in front of our kids. You're right.
And traumatize them.
He then said that if I'm not going to follow the plan, there's nothing to talk about or resolve. What?
Dang, this guy's good.
Wait, so he said if you're not going to use our plan to communicate, we're not communicating.
I'm
You're
writing that down.
ridiculous. You're ridiculous. That's absolutely bonkers.
Boom.
What
Right
kind
back
of,
to the YouTube
What
show.
kind of cyclical logic? What? This logic is insane. I hate this man.
40 chess right here.
Yeah, truly wild. He walked away and went downstairs, and I went to my computer to work.
Oh, bro. Next therapy session is going to go nuts.
Yeah, someone better go off on this man. He came up about 10 minutes later with several pieces of paper in which he typed out the conflict resolution plan and had taped them all over the house in random places. I would go crazy.
Ooh.
So freaking underhanded. Oh my God. Oh my God. How freaking petty of this man to be like, if you're not going to use our conflict resolution plan, I'm not going to talk to you. And then proceeds to tape their plan around the house. What? Give this man an Olympic gold medal for his gymnastics.
Goodness gracious.
Those mental gymnastics are crazy. Avery B. Weird says mental gymnastics, mental parkour. Accurate.
His brain must hurt from all this jumping he's going from.
Yeah, he probably has a migraine too. We haven't really spoken since, and it seems like he's just moved on. All I feel is resentment. It's really frustrating when she has said previously in the story that she has felt like it's hard for her to bring up this when she's upset at something. She just kind of buries it, and for her to then try and bring it up, and for him
to just dismiss it.
And not only dismiss it, but
like
say
make her
that
feel
she's
bad
not
about
communicating effectively enough when she's actively trying, and then shut down all form of communication. And as you said, make her feel bad.
Dude, Panda weaponizing therapy terms. That's
Divorce.
crazy.
Divorce.
Out of there.
You're done. There's the door.
We need a divorce button.
Yeah.
Actually,
What?
wait. I can get a button right now.
Get a button.
No, I don't think it. Never mind.
Okay.
John has a button, and it
Then get a
says,
button.
and it's the easy one from.
That was easy.
Yeah. So he needs a. I think he might. I don't know. We need a button.
We need a button. I'm at a loss. I know I'm not happy. I wish I had a partner. I've told him in the past I feel like I can't rely on him with helping me with the kids, and he was furious and hurt that I would say that. Like, why would you say that? I don't know. This isn't the first time he's done this at a family or friend gathering. I am always the default parent because it's my job. I know I love him, but I'm not sure if that's enough anymore. I don't know what to do. I don't have a job. I have side hustles, but certainly can't pay the bills myself. I don't want to destroy my kids' lives. I love his family, and the thought of losing them is devastating. I can't tell if I'm having a midlife crisis or if I'm just overreacting. He's the only person I've ever been with, only boyfriend I've ever had. I don't know what's normal and what's not. This is not normal. I know I didn't follow our plan, and I owned up to that. I have such a hard time bringing issues up. I really am trying. I get a huge lump in my throat, and it's a struggle to speak sometimes. I'm scared because in the past, he's made comments that we won't ever take a break, etc. And I don't want to go straight to divorce, but I don't know what to do. I think I just want to be alone. I wish I could afford a therapist. Should I ask for a trial separation? Do trial separations work? And this is to answer the question of when is a breakup necessary? Now. This man is gaslighting you about your relationship, gaslamping you about your relationship, and he's also not helping you with your kids. So what is he good for anyway? Obviously, I think it's hard because OP doesn't have a job and is probably relying on him financially. But yeah, no, he's just not helping you.
Tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Wait, let me go see if there's an update. Did you get this today?
Mm.
Never mind.
But there might be. I don't know. Stephanie Petrikowski says divorce doesn't mean she'd have to stop speaking with his family. They're still family to their children. And Kimberly finds says having a parent this manipulative is going to ruin your kids more than a change of living arrangement or routine. Yeah. No, he sucks. He freaking sucks. Yeah. I think the answer is to leave him because he's just. I think the benefits of his financial situation are not outweighing all of the negatives of being in a relationship with him. Yeah. And also, I mean, maybe she could get she would be getting child support from him. So
This is tough, dude.
But let's get into this next. Oh, I've lost it.
Let's go.
My dad sprung a divorce on my mom, and I don't know what to do. And this is to answer the question, are divorces and breakups always expected?
It sounds like the best prank ever. You never saw it coming.
She never saw it coming. April Fools, you're divorced. So, lesbian writer 2627 says, I, 21 female, live at home with my mom, 47 female, and dad, 59 male, in the UK.
Hello. Hello there.
My dad works from home teaching online, and my mom has her own small business that I work for alongside her. My mom and dad have always been different in the sense of he is a complete townie and my mom is a farmer's granddaughter, a country girl through and through. His ideal holiday is going abroad and my mom's is camping and caravanning.
Whoa.
Look at you. That's you right there.
That is me.
Even though they have different views/preferences, they always seem to have gotten along and loved each other. This morning, though, my dad sat her down and said that he wanted a divorce. I think it's always really surprising when one person in that doesn't even expect it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to deal with when you don't even know where it came from. Because I think a lot of times in breakups and divorces, you have inklings about it. And you can kind of sense
like the
it coming.
bedroom's not doing so
Yeah,
hot, dead
yeah.
bed.
Yeah, or like you're not talking, you're fighting more. But here it
There's-
seems.
The dishes aren't getting put up as well. There's like little food things that you notice, like the lasagna used to taste a little bit better, but now it don't.
Now it tastes like hate. Neither me or her knew what was going on. Just last week, he was planning a surprise getaway for their 20th wedding anniversary
Ooh.
next year. And now he says he's been thinking about divorce for a while and just can't do it anymore and pretend he's happy. My mom was in shock, so we left the house for a few hours. She was in tears and just didn't understand what was happening. Neither did I. I thought it was a joke at first because it was so sudden, and I always thought if either of them did ever want a divorce, there would be conversations about it. But no, which I think that you should always, whenever you are having issues in your relationship, you should bring them up. When we came home, he was in his office and we haven't seen him. We did, however, get a few messages from his side of the family telling us they are thinking about us, so he has told everyone. That's annoying. All of his friends and family that live on the other side of the country know.
How would you wait?
I would wait at least until I've had a conversation with my partner. I think that's kind of ridiculous that it's seemingly based off of this post, he out of nowhere said, I want a divorce. OP took her mom away to like get some fresh air. And then he told the whole family.
Seeing a lot of cheating in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Dixie
a-
Blue Steel says there's definitely someone else.
He's a townie, and he talks online because online education.
Yeah.
Can't trust him.
Yeah.
Unless
I
you're
don't
here
know.
and you do online education, we trust you.
It all seems very sudden, and I just don't like that he told everyone without talking to his partner about that, because that's a big deal. And I think that, regardless of whether or not the relationship is continuing, I think that is still something that you have to involve your ex-partner in. We then, or at least just give her like a week at the very least.
Yeah. At least.
Give her a second. We then got a message from him saying he's moving out and has rented a studio for 8 weeks and will be leaving tomorrow. He planned this. He's been planning this. I mean, WTF. My mom asked if they could talk about it, maybe try marriage counseling or something, but he said no, and that it would be best for her to find a lawyer as soon as possible. Then he went back into his office. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help her. She just looks so broken down and cries every time she thinks about it. Any advice would be appreciated, and I apologize for the long ramble. I just don't know what to do. I don't really have any friends, always been the silent loner type, and just need to vent a bit. Thanks, Reddit. And edit, thank you for the comments already. For so many of those replying saying he's having an affair, he is adamant there isn't anyone else. But just to put my mind at ease, how could I check? I know for certain he couldn't have gotten anyone pregnant, though. I'm not even his biological daughter, but wasn't sure if that was relevant in the post. He met my mom when I was 5 months old, and my bio dad has always been MIA. And there is an update,
Ooh.
but let's pause.
There is an update.
Yeah, there is an update.
Is UK a false state?
I don't know.
Someone
Someone from the
UKians.
UK, let us know.
UKians. UKian Aryans. What do you call them?
Yeah. I don't trust him. One, the fact that he is so quickly moving on, letting all of his family members know that he's getting divorced feels like, so I'm not in the wrong when I move on to someone else. And also he's getting a new place.
Dude.
Yeah.
The family's in on this?
Yeah.
Let's
No, I
say-
don't think they're necessarily in on it. I think it's just like now there's no way anyone, like, let's say he starts dating someone in the next 2 weeks.
Mhm.
He can be like, oh, there's no overlap because I'm divorcing my wife. So he's just has that kind of, his family is aware. That is what I'm thinking. I feel like he might be cheating. This feels really sudden.
Very sudden. I wouldn't be happy now.
Yeah.
Who else is making you happy?
Who's making you happy, buddy? And also just going back to it, regardless of whether he's cheating or not, I think this is divorce and also I don't know. Yeah, divorce and breakups are big deals. And I think that throughout the relationship, you need to be making sure that you are setting boundaries and bringing up things with your partner. Because otherwise, you're letting all of this build underneath the surface like this guy was and making yourself more and more unhappy until the day where, like, you just pop and everyone's like, what just happened? What do you mean you're leaving?
What do we say, Sophia?
What?
The grass is always greener where you water it.
So true. Water that grass and talk to your partners.
Smack that ass.
Let them. That's a good motto. Let them into your head.
Where you throw.
Stop.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I need to get off this. Just keep going.
I need to get out
Keep
of
going.
this. No, I was just gonna say, understandably it is hard to talk to your partners, but do it. All right, let's get into this update. 2 days later.
Woo! Let's go.
So he successfully moved out yesterday, a day later than he originally planned. But oh well. My mom and I have both chatted to his sister, who lives on the other side of the country, and everyone has reached the agreement that he is having some sort of mental breakdown. Whoa. That's like crazy that it doesn't seem like they're thinking that he's cheating. They just think he's having a mental breakdown. The divorce is totally out of left field for everyone, and he has been behaving irrationally since. We found out that he went on a spending spree and ended up buying a £1,200 phone that he doesn't need, and he has no idea how to even use. He also bought nearly $200 worth of music albums for a concert that he is completely obsessing over. He has also spent nearly $400 on clothes and shoes because he actually took very little from the house before he left.
That's weird. These are all weird.
It sounds like he could also be going through a
What do you call that?
midlife crisis.
There you go, Duchess Cassandra.
Yeah, it sounds like he could be going through a midlife crisis. And maybe he needs therapy. Maybe but he doesn't even want it. OP's mom suggested couples therapy, and he was like, no.
He already gave up.
Yeah. Also, he took his computer with him so he could work, but left behind his mouse, keyboard, and headset. He definitely isn't thinking straight. We've all made the decision for him to go down to his sister's for a while, and they're going to stage a mini intervention to see if they can get to the bottom of his thinking, as he really isn't making sense when he talks to anyone. Even his best friend has been in contact, as he's concerned that dad has totally changed and isn't acting like himself. That is everything that is happening so far. Thank you to the few people who actually wrote some advice and didn't jump to the conclusion that he's cheating like we did. Oops. I might update again in a few more days. It seems less likely that he's cheating, but I think there is definitely some mental health thing going on. And I think they should, whether it's cheating or not, I think they should get him checked out, maybe see if he can go to a therapist or a doctor. I think that taking him to his sister's is a good idea, though. Like staging that quote unquote intervention. Valley Lily says brain tumor. So does MJ Grow. I think those are all possibilities, and I think he just needs to be checked out, because this is a really sudden shift. It seems like the fact that everyone in the family, including OP and the mom, are like, this is super sudden, super out of character. I think there's something going on. Yeah. Oh, Dixie Blue Steel says my neighbor started acting crazy. It was carbon monoxide poisoning, which isn't that why the witch trials were happening? Salem witch trials, wasn't there like?
I don't even know.
I think
Perhaps.
I think that they said like one of the reasons was possibly carbon monoxide poisoning because that causes hallucinations.
I need to look into that. I love listening to video essays.
Yeah.
I listened to the Cult of Scientology last night.
Oh, that one's crazy. I listened to a podcast about that, but I think it was set in Australia or something.
Dude, shout out to Australia. They were not having any of that.
No.
They were like, we're done. We're not accepting any of that.
No, thank you. But there is another story.
Am I the a-hole to inform my husband that I will divorce him if he continues to defend my brother? Here we are asking the question, are breakups and divorce always expected? So, what topic, if your significant other and your brother were on, that you would definitely like be like, I can't do this? What topic would you break up over? Let's say Sam's on to something. Yeah. He's like, you never swam in your life, and then your significant other at the time agrees with you. Would you still be with him?
Oh, damn. If Sam was like, actually, I think Sam's no longer on the Elon Musk trail, but if he was on the Elon Musk trail and my partner was like, Elon Musk, I'd be like, we're done.
I could see that. My husband and I, 29, have been together since high school, and we were introduced by my brother. We have a beautiful 4-year-old daughter who adores Emma, my brother's ex-wife. My brother and Emma have been together for around 4 years. She's an incredible delight to be with, bringing out the best in him. Our entire family cherished her at times. I feel like my parents loved her more than us, and the same was true for my daughter. Emma was a fairy princess to her, and every time we went to take her up, she would cry and urge us to go home and come back tomorrow because she wanted to be with Aunt Emma. That is so sweet.
Oh.
Anyway, Emma was 26 weeks pregnant, 6 months. Thank you. Very nice of you. And we were all looking forward to it. My brother and her had always wanted a baby and seemed overjoyed whenever we visit them. She would have been an amazing mother. Why did we... Oh! That's so sad. Oh my, I knew something was happening. I knew they said this in such a way where everything it was a Jenga, everything's all good.
And then it crumbled.
I don't even want to keep reading this. Emma had been feeling bad and her stomach hurt, so she requested my brother to drive her to the hospital where the doctor said everything was all right and sent her home. She kept saying that she didn't feel right, but my brother dismissed it as an overreaction. The next day, my brother, husband, and their friends went for a fishing trip. Emma urged my brother not to go since she didn't feel right and needed someone to be with her. My amazing brother became mad, telling her to quit overreacting, that everything isn't about her, and that he needed some time alone. Well, he turned off his phone and proceeded on the trip. Emma called me.
Pause. If anyone ever says they don't feel good, like they're saying, I really don't feel good, take them seriously.
Yeah, that's your kid in there, dude. Come on.
Especially with a baby.
Emma called me crying and asked if I could come over because her stomach hurts. By the time I arrived, she was half conscious on a bloody floor, rushed her to the hospital. The hospital told they required her husband's signature to carry out the operation. There was a lot of bickering, although they saved her life. Lost it.
Why would they need her husband's signature?
I don't know, because they both made it. I don't know.
For life
I don't know. I don't do hospitals. Yikes. She woke up screaming and weeping, asking where her child and husband were. It was horrible. Both of my parents and her parents were in tears when they saw her. I kept calling the guys. None of them responded. When Emma finally calmed down, it was even more unsettling. It was as if she had given up with no soul left in her eyes. My brother returned the next day to an empty, bloody apartment, ran to the hospital, and apologizes to Emma while crying. She looked at him with no feelings and asked for a divorce. My brother grew depressed after that, and he would spend his days drinking in the baby's nursery. None of us really consoled him. I suppose we all blamed him in some way. My husband went to meet him, and when he returned, he told me about the above and asked that I apologize to my brother for neglecting him and console him. I refused. Yeah, dude. I mean, even something. Yikes. Wow. Okay, we got a little bit more. He got angry with me and blamed Emma for the miscarriage, claiming that if she was truly ill, she would have gone to the hospital rather than making a scene, and that my brother is suffering as a result of her idiotic decision. He kept defending my brother, stating that it wasn't his fault and that he wanted some alone time before the baby, and so on. I couldn't take it any longer, so I told him that if he kept defending, I would divorce him. I took my daughter and left for my parents' home. In 2 days, and neither of us has tried talking. I'm not sure if I behaved like an a-hole and recalling all he said. I believe I should at least console my brother. I suppose I wanted options.
Sorry, this was a really sad story.
Yeah, dude. What the heck?
I didn't have a lot of time.
I don't like, I would like something funny with a little bit of a dick joke. I can't give dick jokes with this.
Yeah, this is just sad.
But anyways, I can put my serious face on. I can work through this. So, yeah, this is tough. This is super sad. So we already know that one situation's horrible. This situation, the guy's not budging. I don't even think the guy is listening. She did go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And she tried, and the doctors were like, "No, it's fine. It's all good." And it wasn't. And
no, you should when you are a pregnant wife who says there's something wrong, you should drop everything. You don't get to have alone time. You don't get to have alone time when you're like,
when your pregnant wife needs you, dog. Yeah. Alone time, pregnant wife's needs.
yeah,
Why'd you even get married? Come on.
you can be alone all the time now. But she should divorce you.
You got what you wanted. Yikes. Edit. We're going to figure out if there's more context here. Prior to performing any life-threatening surgery, the hospital requires the patient to sign a waiver. These paperwork can be signed by the patient or their family. Because Emma was not conscious enough, they required her husband's signature. That's why.
That is a ridiculous thing because he wasn't there. What are you supposed to do?
I was alone and confused, and it was just a lot. The hospital agreed after much discussion, but it really caused a lot of unnecessary delay. Oh my gosh. Info. It was a one-night trip. They traveled to a cabin where they claimed there was no cell service. They did not think that there would be no network. Relevant comments. What? The husband said Emma is gross. Am I understanding correctly that during all this, OP tried repeatedly to contact all the guys on the trip, including her husband, and he didn't answer her either? That would be a problem for me as well. He was just ignoring his wife. Kindly add says, this stuck out to me so much. OP has a 4-year-old and her husband couldn't be bothered to answer the phone. That right there would be grounds for counseling and possibly a trial of separation. An emergency happened and none of them answered their phones. Little Bird says, the sad reality is they all were probably sitting around talking crap about their wives while they watched the calls come in and ignore them. And that's why he's defending him so fiercely. Guilt manifests as anger options. And are breakups and divorce always expected? This case, should expect it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sad.
This is really sad, but definitely these two guys are fully a-holes.
Get him out of here. That is so sad. Like, sitting around a circle. I don't think I could ever do that. I would bring up, if I was with my buddies, if John, Sam, and I went to a cabin and we were all sitting around talking about significant others, we would probably just talk about, some of the issues and, be like, how can I be a better partner for my person? Not well, she just keeps talking about how the dog needs to go to the vet but won't take the dog to the vet, and it's just been my last thing. Or the green beans ain't been shucked in the ground in a while and I have to go can them every week. Come on. Love your wives.
Literally. Yeah. No, I think that you should never be. Yeah, when you get to the point where you're like bad talking, you're what's the word?
Bad mouthing,
Bad
gossiping.
mouthing, yeah, gossiping or bad mouthing about your partner to other people beyond just saying like, "Hey, I need advice. This happened." Then it's like, maybe you don't. Yeah, maybe that relationship's not working.
What's the percentage of? Sometimes you need to let some steam off.
No, I agree. I think that there are times when it's really helpful to talk to your
What's
friends
the percentage though?
I don't think it's a percentage necessarily.
This is how
a
much
way
I
that
talk about my girlfriend. What percentage can I badmouth her or vent until I should break up with her?
Personally, I think there's a difference between bad mouthing and even venting. Actually, I think that you, like, for example, if you came to your friend and you were like, "Hey, my partner did something and I'm like not sure how to address this. What, like, I'm asking for advice. Or like, what do you think about what they did? Blah blah blah." I don't think that's necessarily bad mouthing. It's just saying like, I need help.
Yeah.
But if you are constantly going like, "Oh, my partner did this. Oh, my partner's the worst. Like, I had it. Like, I fought with my partner," or you're like, I hate that they did this and stuff," and you're constantly telling all of your friends to that, then it's.
But I agree with you on that. Sophia's getting us another story. How's them tacos?
They were really good.
Good.
I had these cauliflower tacos. They were very good.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Cauliflower tacos.
My mother-in-law disrespected me in front of my husband's affair partner, so I called her out. Oh my. So, right after my husband and I got married, he was served with paternity papers for a child he did not know about.
Oh, lovely.
You get home, it's like, "Oh, baby, what a wonderful honeymoon. This is so beautiful." Surprise! You have an affair, baby.
Oh,
Gotcha, sucker.
get it.
Now, a month before our engagement, a year before, he had cheated on me with some random girl that was his friend. The friend had gotten pregnant and never told him. I think because she knew about me. And yes, I know I should have left, but I have been trying to make it work. I am now pregnant with his baby. By the way, this comes from Important Rip 9882 from r/OK Storytime. So submit more insanity to our subreddit. We gotta love it. So for the baby's first birthday, my in-laws had her birthday party. The baby and the baby's mother live in another state. I believe the affair baby. So at the birthday party, my mother-in-law kept saying that she wanted pictures of just my husband, the mistress, and the baby, and we had brushed her off. Then she wanted a picture in front of a backdrop that she created. My husband stood up to take a picture and told me to come too. My mother-in-law got upset by saying she just wanted a picture with the three of them, the husband, the affair partner, and the affair baby. I didn't say anything, but my husband responded that she was doing too much. He knew I was already uncomfortable. I sat down and pictures were taken.
At least he was uncomfortable with it.
At a bare minimum. This has already dampened the mood. You don't say. Eventually, my mother-in-law ended up crying and running out of the room. She comes back saying she feels disrespected. In response, I cut her off and told her coldly that I don't want drama. I go outside to calm down and they all think that I'm going to leave, but I come back in. I let this go, and even afterwards, I tried being amicable, such as inviting them over for family meals. Eventually, other issues with my mother-in-law surfaced. I'm trying to keep this short, so I won't go into detail now. Her and I ended up going to dinner to clear the air. We started talking about the other issues. She starts saying she's never disrespectful. I cut her off by telling her that what she did at the baby's party was extremely disrespectful and hurtful. She says the convo was done and she is not talking anymore, so I left after trying to pay the tab. Let's stop real quick. Wow. Okay. So, Riley.
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Let's talk about some conspiracy theories. There must be some tie with the mistress and the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Why would the mother-in-law favor the mistress? This is pure insanity.
Well, one, the mistress is a friend of OP. Two, my conspiracy theory is that the mistress is a family friend, and that's why she's like really close. And three, I think that this is the mother's first grandchild, so that's why she's like, I want to make it seem like a happy family for them.
The first grandchild does make a lot of sense. Yeah, it was not OP's friend, but the husband's friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it was like a friend through like some family friend ties or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, the husband's friend.
Which still makes sense with your theory. And the first, I mean, we've seen some insane first grandbaby syndrome. Usually it's with the adopted kids where it's like there's a kid adopted. They're like, oh no, but that's not my real grandchild. But maybe this grandma or this grandma is like, oh no, this is my first.
That's blood.
And that's all I need.
That's mine.
That's all I need. Well, afterwards, I sent a text about boundaries, which included not disrespecting me around his mistress again. I had told her that due to my pregnancy, my mental health is what matters. Back to Riley's point, I think her baby isn't born yet. So this is currently the only outside baby.
Only grandchild out there.
Only baby that she can hold. I am a high-risk pregnancy, and I already had a couple miscarriage scares. She never responded to the text. Eventually, my father-in-law gets involved and says that it wasn't her intent to be disrespectful as an apology. He says the picture was for the baby, so it wasn't disrespectful. However, they now feel disrespected, feel like I only care about my feelings and I am being one-sided. Was I disrespectful? Am I the a-hole for being upset after my mother-in-law wanted pictures of just my husband, his mistress, and their oopsie baby? That's literally what OP wrote. Okay, guys, we have an edit coming up. We have the end of the story coming up in that edit. But let's take a quick break before we get into that. Riley and Anthony.
Ask away.
Is OP the a-hole for being upset with the two of them? Anthony.
Just to clarify a
Yes.
few things. There was a picture being taken with the mother-in-law, the son, the mistress,
The affair baby and the husband. So it's like the affair family picture.
the affair family, and she was not allowed in the picture, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
She was like exiled from the picture, basically.
Yeah.
So she's like, why are you prioritizing an affair family picture? That's crazy.
Was that the birthday? Was there a birthday party?
That was the birthday for the affair baby.
Yes.
So, hot take.
Cook. Give it to me.
Hot take? That's not a crazy thing to do. That's not a crazy thing to do, to be like,
Neither did I. That's a good point to be made.
you know, like, just put yourself in the shoes. It's kind of fucked up that they're all kind of there together, like in this event, but it's not a crazy thing to not have that person be in the picture.
I think that is a super valid point. I didn't think about that either. But you know what, guys? There's an edit. So this escalated quickly. Yes, I know I am dumb for staying, but we are working on it. There's complete transparency between the husband and I. He is trying. He has made lifestyle changes and even changed his career to a more family-oriented career for me. I am angry with him too, as I have told him all of this is his fault. He has taken accountability and he is trying to make things right. Yeah, there wouldn't be an affair family if he didn't have an affair.
Yeah.
I have the means and help from loved ones to leave, and he knows this. I have my own career, and I would be just fine as a single mother. I have done it before with my now grown children.
What?
So OP has raised full-grown children's and is now having another baby, doing it over. So many plot twists.
How old is she?
Maybe she's like late 30s. She could have a baby at 20, then have another baby in
Yeah,
her
that's
late
what my
30s.
mom did. Yeah. Because she's like 45 and she has like one set and me set.
It happens, baby.
Wow.
My current pregnancy was not planned. Leaving is not completely off the table, and he knows that thought is on my mind. I have told him that his parents will be part of the reason if we divorce. I have had the divorce papers already signed and printed for a while, bro.
Damn!
OP's like, it's locked and loaded.
Oh my gosh.
It's here. I'll put it down for now, but it's right here.
I honestly do not know how I feel about that.
My husband wants his parents out after the last conversation. My husband has always hated his mother and only has a relationship with her due to his father. My husband from the start told me not to get involved with his mother because he knows how she is. They are good grandparents. I have another stepdaughter that we have custody of. Why didn't you mention that earlier? We wouldn't want her to suffer because of the adult drama. She is the reason why he's still been in contact, as they have always been actively involved in her life. After the last convo, he is contemplating that. By the way, we're live every day at 3 p.m. PST. So what are you doing? Join us. Tap the profile. But Riley, tap my brain with your takes. We're almost at the end of the story here. What are your thoughts on her having the divorce papers locked and loaded?
Yeah, the divorce papers, people make some mistakes, and this couple decided to work through this mistake instead of divorcing through it. It is very strange to me that she kind of has that there. Like, she might have it there for herself, but does he know about it? What I don't don't want to happen is that she's holding this over his head.
Yeah.
Like the next strong thing you do, you're out of here. That doesn't seem healthy.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think, but on the flip side, like if she wanted to leave, I mean, he had a full baby with his mistress, with his affair partner.
But it was 13 months before the engagement, and were they together then? That's my thought. Were they? If they were still together?
I don't think it's a mistress if they're not together.
Oh, okay.
By definition.
Yeah.
That's where my head was.
They
was
were
like,
they were in a relationship the entire time because they found out about the baby literally like immediately after they got married, which means they didn't give us the exact timeline, but I think we can pretty safely assume they were at a minimum in a relationship, if not engaged, a year before they got married. Unless they got married in like 6 months or something.
Okay, so she has it ready.
I think she has it ready because when it all happened, she probably drew them up.
Gotcha.
I mean, you know, if your partner goes and has another child without you, and you're like, let me drop some divorce papers and I have them locked and loaded. Not locked and loaded, but like I have them because I drew them up when it initially happened, which sounds like is what happened. I don't falter for that. And I think like when you make a mistake that big, the amount of work you have to do to build the trust back is like massive. And, you know, to your point, I do think there probably is a point where it's like too much, where you can kind of like beat them over the head with it. But I generally think that there's like so much trust to build back.
Yeah.
That there seems to be this like certain level of like, look, this is what I need from you to stay in the relationship. And honestly, I can leave. I think more context would be helpful.
But the story was more the issue with the mother-in-law. The edit is giving context of their relationship. I don't think they are having anything like this. They worked through that. I think it was just giving like, hey, because he was uncomfortable with the picture being made, and he's made style changes to be more family oriented. So this is more issues with the mother-in-law.
I think where I stand right now, although it could be, there is a world where there's like too much. Like for instance, if you remind them in every conversation,
hey, I got those divorce papers ready for you.
Yeah, if it's literally every conversation,
sure you want to have that fight right now?
That's clearly too much. But yeah, I think it's a hard place to peg where it is too much and it isn't too much. I'm sure people in the members only live right now and probably that are watching this episode on YouTube and Spotify probably agree with you. And I do think there is such a thing as too much, and that is interesting. Before we get into this final part of the story, Anthony, what are your thoughts, if you have any?
So is OP wondering whether she should divorce? Is that sort of their predicament?
Yeah, we're kind of discussing like, is it too much that she has these divorce papers, we're assuming from like early in the process? Is she like being too like quote unquote overbearing with like, hey, I have the divorce papers, here they are?
Yeah, I think a couple more moves by the mom and I'm gone. You know, because it seems like if you didn't leave off the bat,
yeah,
because of this dude, then you sort of made that decision. But now that if it's because of a different reason, then you have the right. You had the right to leave in the beginning, and now you have more rights to leave.
Right.
So it's like,
the first offense was the affair baby being created, and now the second offense is like, oh, now the mother-in-law and father-in-law are going to make my life a living hell. Okay, pieces, deuce out. Yeah, I think I'm closer to that's a chat. Chat is split. 51% says too much. Literally, like almost on the dot, split evenly.
I thought it was going to be like, nah.
Yeah.
All good.
I know. Interesting. Wow. Okay, I'm super curious. YouTube comments when this comes out. Please share your thoughts below.
Yes.
But let's get into this final part. So the convo with my father-in-law was actually with my husband. My husband was defending me and saying that it was disrespectful. He told them to apologize, and in their mind, they had by saying it wasn't their intent to be disrespectful. So basically, they're like, oh, we didn't mean it, and they believe that that's their apology. I overheard the convo and responded. My father-in-law has texted since, basically suggesting family therapy. And that's it. That is literally all we got here. So to close things out here, do we stay in the relationship? If you are OP, you stayed through the affair baby being born. You've stayed through the mother-in-law and the father-in-law taking all these pictures and whatnot. I feel like it's kind of been a little all over the place. To Anthony's point in the beginning, them taking a family photo isn't crazy for the family of the baby's birthday party.
Yeah.
But also, like,
are you staying or not?
Oh, honestly, I think I probably would have left in the beginning with the baby.
Ooh. But you're already a year and a half in. You're at this point.
Yeah, you can't go back in time.
Right, I can't go back in time. I'm right here. I think that I would probably say like, hey, look, you know, I've already stayed through all of this. The kind of like condition of me staying is that maybe you're doing everything in your power, maybe not, maybe there's more that could be done. But like at the end of the day, is my life being made like a living hell by staying in this relationship? I think that's kind of the bottom line. Like, even if the husband is like doing absolutely everything, and is the solution like going in like maybe low contact or maybe even no contact with the in-laws? I think that's
the husband seems to be doing everything he can. He defended her.
I think that the husband is doing a good job so far.
So you staying or not?
Say it. You know, say it. I think no, because I wouldn't want to stay in the beginning.
You were on the fence and this just tipped you over to the other side.
Yeah, especially if I've already stayed through the affair, baby. I'm like, I don't want to make my life a living hell. Hey, listen, if you're fighting for me, I appreciate that. But like at the end of the day, there comes a point where it's like, I don't want to have to deal with this.
Gotcha.
Because of something, I don't want to live in a mess that I didn't make.
Yeah, I'm staying.
All right. Plead your case.
We already worked through the affair, baby, and the family. This incident happened once. I believe the husband's on my side. I'm the OP. The husband's on my side. He says it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
We can work through it. I believe so.
I think to your credit, like showing the work that we have seen or what he has done, it does seem that he is, I mean, the fact that he changes his career to a more family oriented, I'm guessing like more family time in the right city that makes things, you know, he can help with the kids and whatnot.
Because I don't know how hard it would be to find another partner that is okay with that life at this point in time.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like Opie has had kids already. Like she's done the single mom thing.
Yeah.
Already. So it's like, okay, maybe she doesn't want to do that again. And yeah, the family's not perfect, but
could be better than not.
Yeah.
Although the way she was talking about it, she's like, I'm fine with being a single mom. I've got a good career.
True.
I have family support. Also, and so people in poll right now are voting 68% nah.
69%.
69% nah. So as in don't stay.
As in don't stay.
Leave the relationship.
They're out. They're with you.
Yeah, I think I'm there. Anthony, where would you say you are?
I think
Gotta say it.
Should I stay or should I go? I think at this point in time, I'd probably stay until like the family does something that's just so annoying. And it's like, okay, that's it. I'm gone. And maybe this already is that, but like you made your like if you're the type of person, not me, but if you're the type of person who says, okay, I'll stay with this dude and this baby, then you're probably gonna think it's fine to stay.
Right.
So
there we have it. Hey, got a split story.
Wow.
But you know what's better than a split story?
Another story?
A whole new story. Let's get into it.
My wife accused me of cheating on her, so I'm getting a divorce.
Well, did you?
Me, 44 male, my wife, Grace, 42 female, fake names for obvious reasons, have been married for 13 years, together for 16. By the way, this comes from OK Cartoonist 5220 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Yeah.
So, quick backstory. I met Grace about the time I got out of the military. I was a medical discharge. I met her while I was at the hospital for surgery. She was a nurse on the floor I was staying on. Single mom, divorced for a couple of years. I left the military, went back to school, and now I work from home as a software engineer, more or less. We started dating, took it slow the first couple of years because of her daughter, Maya, who was 5 at the time. Grace is still a nurse, and Maya goes to college. I would have said until last month that our marriage was pretty solid. We've had arguments. I admit I was kind of crap at housekeeping when we first moved in together because I was not used to how much kids tear things up around the house. But other than that, it was good. No step-parent issues. I had an active role in Maya's life because her own father lives overseas for work. We went on dates. Intimacy has always been great. We wanted kids, but it wasn't in the cards for us. Honestly, I'm a bit blindsided. I've had friends who were blindsided by divorce, but I never understood how. Usually there were problems that they glossed over, and then suddenly their wives would leave them, and they just didn't see it coming. But the rest of us could see it coming from a mile away. So here I am saying the same thing, and maybe I just missed something huge. The past few months, Grace has been more stressed than usual. Ever since COVID, she's been burnt out, and I asked her multiple times if she wanted to quit her job, at least for a couple of years. I thought the burnout was coming to a head. She was withdrawn, angry. She snapped at me constantly. She ridiculed Maya over everything. But she's my wife. She was traumatized by the pandemic, and both Maya and I were understanding. Yeah, because she's a healthcare professional. So that's like the hardest job to do during the pandemic.
OP's wife is.
OP's wife is,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
so she was
that's
experiencing a lot of
lot,
burnout. Yeah, that makes sense. We would do okay with just my salary. So last month, I sat her down to suggest again that she quit and take some time off to heal. Then everything blew up. She started yelling at me that she knew what I was doing. She's known for months. She has proof. I didn't know what she was talking about at first, but it didn't take long to realize she was accusing me of infidelity. I can't lie, I was angry as hell. I opened my phone, handed it to her, told her to go through it. I went and got my laptop and unlocked it, told her to go through that. The whole time she's still shouting at me about some other woman. I don't have traditional social media accounts. I'm on Lobsters, Hacker News, and I have a Reddit account. I told her to check everything. There's no secret Facebook or Instagram or whatever. No messages from anyone. I opened Discord, even Slack, everything I could think of, but she wouldn't even look at it. That's so annoying. She just got angrier and angrier, and then she picked up my laptop and threw it. That's when I had enough and left. Where is she getting this from? I went to my parents' house. All the while, Grace was texting and calling and leaving more and more unhinged messages about this woman she knows I'm with. When I got to my parents' house, I called her once and told her I needed a few days because I was too angry to handle talking to her. My sister called the next morning and told her Grace had called her multiple times as well to see if I was really there. After a few days, I called Grace to talk, and at first the conversation was productive. She apologized for throwing the laptop, but she said I made her so angry because I was being so calm. What? Opie was just not screaming, and she was like, ah!
If anything, I feel like the classic response we see is like, how dare you? Like they freak out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, if you're calm, I feel like that's more of an indicator. It's like, hey, I have nothing to hide.
What
like,
are you?
this
Yeah.
is cool.
Like, what's going on? He was probably confused.
Of course he was confused.
Yeah. Like, that's probably where I don't even understand what you're doing. What are you thinking?
I think I see an ICU in the
You think a little bit of
comments.
projection?
I think an exact amount of projection is what I am seeing.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah, I think that's where we're
A
getting.
little bit
I
of
think
that.
she's super angry because she's trying to point the finger somewhere else.
Ooh.
She needs to go to the school of manipulation taught by Sophia.
That's correct. She's the headmaster. She has
if she
earned her degree.
really wanted to
SOFIA.
change,
Yeah.
she would have manipulated him.
She should have been playing chess.
Yeah.
This whole time she was playing.
Charades.
There it is.
I told her I was not calm because I was being accused of cheating on my wife, and I was furious, but it was either trying to talk it out or start shouting, which I didn't think was a good idea. Then she got angry, told me I was twisting her words, and things fell apart quickly. She started going on and on again that she knew I was cheating. She had proof. I asked her what proof, because I would like to see it. I don't remember how we got there, but she said that she was going to send everything to the lawyer, and I said, fine, send a copy to mine because this was going nowhere. She got really quiet after that and asked if I was serious. And I said I wasn't going to stay in a marriage where my wife thinks I cheated on her, but won't tell me why. We ended the call there, and I've been at my parents' house since. My dad is on my side. My mom thinks Grace is just having a rough time and that we can talk this through. My sister is pissed she got dragged into it, so she thinks that we're both the a-holes. And Maya is miserable because she's being torn between me and her mom. I feel like maybe I jumped the gun and should have stayed calmer. And there is an edit, but I think that it's kind of really ridiculous that the wife was like, we're gonna talk to lawyers. Well, this is over. And OP was like, okay,
Let's talk to lawyers.
let's talk to lawyers.
She's like,
And then she was like,
Really?
what do you mean we're gonna talk to lawyers?
You want to talk to lawyers? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't you literally just
Yeah.
say you wanted to talk? Like,
Didn't you just imply that you wanted a divorce?
I was just going to say
Dude.
whether she's cheating or not.
great minds.
Is that what you're thinking?
I think yes.
Well, and then I have a second poll and a question for you. Divorce.
Oh. Yeah, I think so.
Do we call her bluff?
The way OP said, which kind of like calmly emphasized the ridiculousness of the situation, which is, hey, if you want to like accuse me of this cheating, which I'm happy to calmly sit down and
literally showed her everything.
Like, hey, look, all the evidence you say you have, I'm here to sit down, come to the table and talk about it. If you want to just keep refusing, great. I just don't want to be in that relationship. Yeah. And if that continues, like, you can give her some time, like, hey, I'm here, but not forever. So if you want to, like, let's
I'm not going to talk to you unless you are willing to actually have an adult conversation and not just scream at me.
Once we get there, then we can maybe work towards rebuilding.
Yeah. But I think that right now she's not even giving him that. So like right now it's divorce, but if she eventually comes around and...
Have you all seen the movie She's Just Not That Into You, or He's Just Not That Into You?
Yeah, no, but I've seen clips.
And I can infer from the title where you're going, but take us home, Anthony. Take us home.
It's kind of like a Love Actually multiple plot line situation, but one of them, he cheats on his wife, but then when she finds out, he's like, well, don't you want to leave me? And she's like, no, we're going to stick it out. But I think in his reaction, he was like, well, maybe I don't actually want to be here. Like, he was kind of hoping that she would be like, well, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
But she wanted to stick it out. And he was like, ooh, maybe that isn't what I want.
Yeah.
She's
I think he checked out. I mean, cheating is like you're checking out of the relationship.
100%.
Edit. My morning meetings are finally over and I need to concentrate on my job. So I'm going to be logging out for the day. I'm going to talk to my mom to see if she'll talk to Grace. Suggest therapy, couples therapy, etc. I believe those of you who suggested missing reasons are correct. Something is causing this. I just don't know if it's something I've done, stress in her life, or if it's full-on projection. I don't think it is, but you never know. I'll assure Maya again that she has a place here no matter what. As far as I'm concerned, she's my daughter, and of course she's got a place here if she needs it. However, I also won't try to pressure her considering that that's her mom, and I know this is pulling her in two ways. And there is a second edit to finish this off. Okay. So I took a quick break and thought I'd come back and read a couple comments. Number one, someone asked if I was cheating. I understand why you would ask that. I never came out and said in the post, but let me assure you, no, I'm not cheating. I never have. Granted, those are just words, and I'm sure some of you will think I'm lying, but I love my wife. I've never wanted to cheat. I'm not a saint. I've been attracted to people. I think Salma Hayek is gorgeous.
Got him. End it. End it.
But the thought of cheating has never crossed my mind. Number two, a lot of people think she's cheating on me. Again, I don't think so. She's home every night at the same time. She doesn't hide away her devices. Could there be someone at work? Yes. Do I think she's cheating? No. But as many pointed out, those are famous last words. Number three, talking about divorce / staying calm. I have PTSD. I've worked a lot in therapy over the years to process intense emotions. Also, I think OP was medically discharged from the army, from the military.
Right.
So, yeah. It's why I stay calm. Not because I am, but because if I don't, then I get overwhelmed. The talk to my lawyer comment was one of those moments I didn't process well. I don't think it's a good idea to divorce her after over a decade together because of this past month. On the other hand, I know that because it's not a safe place for me mentally, I'll stay at my parents' until we could get this resolved. 4. Could it be hormones? Yes, it could. However, my wife is already taking hormones because of a medical procedure she had when she was in her 30s. Like I said, it wasn't in the cards to have kids. She has to see the doctor usually every 6 months to check her levels. Her last appointment was in March. However, her mood changes started before that. Number 5, mental health issues. This is what I think it is personally. Like I said, Grace has been building up to a burnout for a while now. These mood changes started a while ago. It's why I brought up taking time off work. It's why I brought it up again last month when she blew up at me. I think this is stress. It's why I haven't actually contacted a lawyer. Because I hope my marriage can be saved. I think I just wanted reassurance from a neutral third party because I'm so far out of my depth here. Number 6. There's a lot of these.
Ooh.
To those who say don't get my mom involved, my mom already is. She and Grace are incredibly close. She's called Grace every day to check on her. Grace has no contact with her own family, so I'm not really involving mom as much as I'm just asking her to suggest marriage counseling to her the next time she calls. I sure as hell don't want to get some other party involved in this, so I'm not going to contact a friend to talk to my wife. Number 7. There's one more after this.
Yes.
I haven't been no contact with my wife since I left. I probably should have clarified that. She messages me. Sometimes it's the same silly stuff we've always talked about, like random memes she found. They're like, maybe divorcing, and she's like, look at this meme I found.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's her begging me to just tell her the truth. I'm exhausted mentally from this all, and at the end of my rope. I've suggested therapy a couple of times already, but that's gotten nowhere. Hopefully mom bringing it up might help. And 8, why the throwaway? Because my coworkers also have Reddit accounts and I don't want them to see this post. They might, but hopefully software. This is not really relevant. And I think that's everything. I want to add, though, please don't disparage my wife. I'm upset over this because my wife is a great woman. She's smart. She's funny. She's sweet. She's been a wonderful mother. And that's why I've been worried the past few months about her, because this is so out of character.
This is just kind of a sad one.
Yeah. Because they've been
there's
married
no
for
real-
15 years.
There's no real end in sight, it seems.
No, the fact that she's still reaching out to him. So she's sending memes, and then it's also like, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to have told the truth.
Yeah.
And for someone to still be like, you're a witch.
Something major is going on. It could be a mental health issue. It could be something that she did and she's now something I think is happening here. She's not being forthcoming. And if I wasn't already on OP's side in the beginning, I think as it went on, when he was like, I offered her daughter a place to stay, like, hey, you can stay here as long as you want.
OP is doing as much as
I know.
possible.
Yeah. Him talking about the work that he's done in therapy. He's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I understand that I need to stay calm in these situations. Has obviously done a lot of work in therapy and like on his own emotions. So like, I think OP has been super level-headed and super fair the entire way through.
And even just how they speak about how he speaks about his wife. It's so like, I'm just worried about her. I just don't know what's going on. I don't want to divorce her. That just kind of came out because she was saying it. And it's all out of love.
Yes.
Which is so sad.
He could even say like, she's being so frustrated. I'm so angry at her. And that wouldn't even necessarily, I think, be
incorrect,
bad, incorrect per se, but he is instead choosing to say she's been a wonderful mother.
Yeah.
She's been
15 years.
For 15 years. So yeah, I think something's going on here. Let us know in the comments if you think you might know. I'm at a loss. I don't know.
Because we do know that she has a hormone imbalance.
Yes.
That she's going to. So maybe there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a medical professional, but you know what I know?
What?
We've got another story.
Whoa.
Let's and John's gotta freaking read it.
Whoa.
My wife kept accusing me of cheating, but she was just projecting. Well, my dear readers, I have some new tea for you all, and it is still.
Mm-hmm.
This story is about my dear friend Juan and his soon-to-be ex-wife. Let's call her Maria. Also, I got permission from him to post this story. By the way, this comes from our werewolf 7506 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So let the story begin. Juan and Maria met in college where they were studying for the same degree, which was in engineering. They slowly started seeing each other and became a couple after they were done with college because both of them wanted to focus on their studies, which is entirely understandable. I met Juan through a friend of mine and became friends with him and Maria. Compared to my last story, I actually got along very well with Maria and thought of her as a close friend, including Juan. They always joined me and my other friends to barbecues, video game nights, and even our weekly Friday hangouts where we chat through Discord and talk about random things, or even ask each other random questions that usually turn into a deep conversation. Things were going great, and I thought they would be together all the way into their 80s. However, sadly, that was not the case. To be honest, I am still shocked at how all of this happened. In 2018, Juan and Maria decided to tie the knot.
Okay.
Okay. And I was over the moon, happy for them. However, when it came to inviting people to their wedding, none of us in the friend group got it.
Why not?
To be frank, we all thought it was just close family and friends since we had only known them since 2016. So it's been two years.
Mm.
And we understood that. However, a couple of weeks later, after their wedding and they're coming back from the honeymoon, Juan was sad that all of us were too busy to go to his wedding. Maria!
Oh, she.
How do you solve a freaking problem like Maria?
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Exactly. We all looked at him oddly and told him that none of us got an invite to his wedding. And when we asked Maria about the wedding, she told us that it was only close family and friends.
What?
Whoa. Whoa.
You're saying we are close?
Juan was shocked to hear this and said to us that Maria had explained to him that all of us could not come because we were all busy at that time. Question, why didn't you talk to them?
Divorce.
Absolutely. Divorce, absolutely. But also, I mean, I think that if I invited my friends, I would probably like reach out.
And they said, oh, I can't make it. I
Yeah, I'd
would
be
be like, wait,
like, oh,
all
hey.
my friends can't make it. What are they all doing
Yeah, I'd
without
text
me?
him. I'd be like, hey, so sad that you can't be there. Ever since then, Maria has either texted Juan or come into his office to talk about something important or say it's an emergency anytime he hangs out with us or joins us on a game night. Why is she trying to isolate him from his friends?
Because she wants to control him. It's the first step in the tactic to control everything.
It's gotten worse when COVID started. And Maria got pregnant around the same time. When they had their child, Maria decided to leave her job and be a stay-at-home wife for the first 2 years of their child's life, which I would understand, but around the time COVID started, it was tough for Juan to have any time for his family because not only was he working more hours, but also he was doing Uber Eats to make extra money on the Also, I'm wondering why he didn't divorce or ask some follow-up questions after the wedding.
Because Maria's got it like that.
Maria's got it like that, I guess. I once met a girl named Maria. Although Juan was doing everything he could for his family, it was not enough for Maria. He would walk into his office and bother him about every little thing. Even when Juan was in the middle of a conference call with his boss and coworkers. What broke the camel's back on this was when Maria came into his house and began to yell at him, accusing him of cheating in front of his coworker and boss.
Projection, Your Honor.
You project more than the freaking planetarium show at the Griffith Observatory.
You project more than an IMAX theater playing
Oppenheimer.
Alien Romulus.
You project more than the illusion that we have a space on this flat Earth.
Whoa.
Juan told Maria, how can he cheat when he was in his office the whole time during COVID?
Dude,
That
what,
is so
you've
funny
never,
to accuse someone of cheating during COVID when you're both at home all the time. That's so funny.
Someone could have gone through the window or the wall.
However, Maria would not listen to him and kept accusing him of cheating on her with his female coworkers. She's like, you're on Zoom all the time with them.
Yeah, spicy texting.
Thankfully, they both agreed to see a therapist because being locked up in the house was not only making the marriage difficult, but also not being able to see friends and family do everything. Ooh, VixMix says you project more than the weatherman. That was great.
Ooh, that's all.
Things slowly got back together or better and went back to normal, which I was happy to hear this from Juan. However, that all changed at the beginning of this year. Now, not a lot of people know this, but I stream video games from time to time.
Oh.
Now we all know
Now we
this.
all know.
And I asked Juan if he would like to be a mod for my stream, and he agreed to the title. The moment Juan agreed to be a mod for my streams, Maria would blow up my phone while I was streaming with text messages and missed calls, asking me questions like, why did you ask him to be a mod? Can't you see he's a married man? Why are you chasing a married man? Now,
Yeah, if you are a
What?
mod of our Discord,
yeah,
it's because we
you're in
want
an
something
affair.
for you.
You're
Yeah,
in
yeah,
an
we are
affair.
your affair.
Yeah. Now I am in a happy 8-year relationship with a man I love. Why the bloody hell? Why the bloody hell would she think that I would not only screw up my relationship of 8 years, but also go after one of my close friends who's not only like a married, but also like a brother to me?
Bloody hell,
hell,
Harry.
mate.
Bloody hell, Harry.
Bloody hell, Harry.
Why couldn't it be follow the butterflies?
hell.
Why does it have to be follow
Why
the
there's so many
spiders?
spiders? I could
I
tell
brought
that
this off
Juan
the
was not
Hun,
only
but he-
upset with his wife for her actions towards me and my friends, but also sad that she thought that he was cheating. I think.
Because he thought he put all these cheating accusations behind them.
Yeah. Juan decided to do some detective work, to see where this was all coming from, because it did not start until they got married.
Real quick, I think I know who wrote this.
What do you mean?
This is Mad Hatter Gal's friend.
Wait.
This comes from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh
I just checked their
my God!
profile.
It didn't
This is
say
Mad
it.
Hatter Gal's friend because I'm looking at their stuff and this is Mad Hatter Gal.
Did we put the?
It didn't. It wasn't put in there that it was from r/OK Story. I mean, it was put in, but it wasn't.
Oh dang!
Oh my God! This is from Mad Hatter Gal in the r/OK Storytime subreddit. This is crazy.
This is one of our own.
This is one of ours. Juan went through her social media and found out that his wife made 2 accounts. One was for all the photos of her, Juan, and their child. The other account was for her photos of her doing sexy poses and posting pictures of her and her friends, even cutting out photos of Juan and their child.
For max sexiness.
Not only did Juan figure out her password to the second account, but also saw messages from other men wanting to show her a good time. Juan took screenshots of all their conversations and told his wife that he no longer wanted to be married to a woman that accused him of cheating nonstop when there had never been any proof of this. To my surprise, Maria agreed to the divorce. Juan told us that he and Maria were splitting up and that he needed time away from everything. And we all understood that we were there for him when he was ready to talk. And there is an update.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Now for the revenge. Now, I did not know this until everything was done and over, but Juan and Maria had a prenup agreement. This was actually Juan's idea of doing a prenup, and that the only way he was going to agree to marriage is if both of them signed it, and which Maria agreed to. Thank God he did. On the day they both sat down with their lawyers, Juan showed them all the evidence of Maria's cheating. I was actually shocked, and also Mad Hatter Gal is in the chat.
No way.
Thank you for sharing
the
your
Hatter
story.
is here.
The Hatter is here. I was actually shocked, yet not surprised, that Maria confirmed that she had a second account and was enjoying the attention she was getting from other men because Juan was too focused on his career and their child than on her, like he was at the beginning of the relationship. This made Juan angry because he put more hours into his job because Maria demanded more money so she could get her nails done or go on trips with her girlfriends. Anytime Juan tried to take her out on dates or do anything romantic with her like he used to, Maria would make excuses. After going back and forth about custody of their child, Maria asked about split assets and where Juan would be moving to after they split up, since she would be getting the house out of their divorce. This is when Juan smiled at Maria and brought out the prenup they both signed.
Let's freaking go. I imagine it's going to be like an infidelity clause or something.
Yeah,
that you lose
saying
everything.
like you don't get it. On the prenup stated that if one party cheats or creates debt without the other party knowing, they will leave the marriage with what they had at the beginning of the relationship.
Oh!
That's right. The house, the car they both share, and Juan's saving go all to him. And Maria will be leaving the marriage with only the money in her account and a few items she has in the house.
Get wrecked, Maria.
But you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. Just tap our profile.
Just tap it.
The moment Maria heard this, the color on her face was drained. Maria thought that she would be getting the car, home, and half of Juan's money, but that was not the case. And the cherry on top, if one party does cheat, they have to pay alimony to the party that was cheated on. Wow, what a prenup. She did not read that closely.
Pay alimony to the... Oh, wow.
So not only does Maria have to find a job to pay for everything for her and their child, but she also has to pay alimony to Juan for cheating on him. I did ask him if there was any physical cheating, and sadly, there was. On one of the trips Maria went on with her girlfriends, she actually met up with one of the guys she was chatting with on Instagram and hooked up with. When did this cheating start, you ask? Well, it was around the time Maria was accusing him of cheating on her.
I was out cheating, so you had to have been cheating too.
You had to have been
We're
cheating.
usually so in sync, so when like I do something, you do something, right?
Right? Isn't that how it works?
Like when we start watching Game of Thrones, you're watching Game of Thrones, I'm watching Game of Thrones.
When we're cooking, you're cooking, I'm cooking.
When
When
we're
we're cheating,
cheating.
I'm cheating. That's right, my wonderful readers. If you're going to accuse someone of cheating with no proof of it, it is more likely that the person is doing the cheating.
People get divorced and don't even think about prenups, you know? Like they like say like, oh, I want a divorce. And then they're like, oh, did you check the prenup? And they're like, no,
They're
no.
like, prenup. My ex-wife asked to see me after 4 years so she could sabotage my new relationship.
Oh.
These terrible exes.
Brother.
Oh, brother.
Oh,
Let
that
me tell
lady
you.
stinks.
I want to preface this by saying that I have no intentions of getting back with my ex, and I'm in a very happy relationship with my now fiance. And I'm sorry this is long. I just wanted to add all the context, and I'm not the best with words. By the way, this comes from Hot Professional 6249 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I, 46 male, married my ex-wife, 45 female, when we were both 26 and 25 respectively. At that time, we were both on the fence about having kids. I knew since college that I wanted to retire early, and my dream of having financial freedom was what really made me realize that kids didn't fit into the life I wanted. I was trying to find the right time to talk with her about it, but over the next few weeks, she started dropping hints that she wanted kids. She started showing me photos of her friends' kids, commenting on our nieces and nephews, joking about her getting/being pregnant, that one freaked me out, and even bought me a book on the joys of fatherhood that she thought I'd find interesting.
Ugh.
I sat her down and asked her if she wanted kids. He's like, babe, I don't know if this is just me, but something's giving me the idea that maybe you want kids.
I'm just floating this out there. I feel like maybe
Picking up a vibe.
You gave me the book about how I would want the kids. Do you want the kids? The book says
I could be
that
wrong.
I could. Hey, and I could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
And I could be wrong.
I sat her down and asked her if she wanted kids, and she admitted that over the years she had grown to want a family. We had a conversation about it, and I realized that neither one of us were going to change our minds. I didn't want to keep her from what she wanted in life, so I brought up divorce. She really didn't want divorce and kept trying to get me to want kids, but I stuck to what I wanted, and we ended up separating, which I think that is sometimes the only solution in those situations where it is such a clear deal breaker.
There's it's hard to find an impasse between you can't
Kids
just
and
have
no
like
kids. Half a kid.
an imaginary kid.
No, it won't work.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, doesn't work. We were still young and she could find someone to have the family she wants with. I didn't want her to resent me for forcing my life choices on her. Even after I filed for divorce, she still didn't agree with me and dragged it out as long as she could. So the divorce took almost 2 years. I dated over the years, but never really found someone that I could see myself sharing the rest of my life with until I met my now fiance 4 years ago. Apparently, my ex-wife struggled with dating as well and hasn't remarried yet. She has a son, but the kid's dad isn't in the picture. She recently reached out to me and asked if we could meet up to catch up. I talked with my fiance about it, and she thought it'd be a great way to clear up any bad blood between us, so I agreed to meet up with her for coffee. Things seemed to be going well until she brought up her son. She asked me if I was willing to be a part of his life as a masculine influence.
Oh.
It's so funny that OP's like, hey, I don't want kids. And then 5 years pass, and she's like, hey, do you maybe want kids? And he's like, no, let's get a divorce. And then she comes back and she's like, I know this is not your son, but do you maybe want this kid? And he's like, I don't want kids.
I feel for the mom though.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's
now
so
that the
hard being a
husband's
single
not
mom.
in the picture, it's like that is what's bad. It's like it's good for a kid to have some kind of like a masculine figure in their life, but it's like it's unfair to go to your ex who is explicitly like, I don't want
kids.
children, and then be like, hey, mom, you have to fix my, or not fix my kid, but like
You have to be there
you
for
have
my
to be
kid.
their
Yeah.
blueprint, please. Like,
Please, thank you.
no, doesn't make any sense.
And I told her I was glad that she was able to have a child, but that it still wasn't something I was interested in. She tried to change my mind by saying that we could be a family again. She kept trying to convince me, and I kept trying to change the subject. I admit I got frustrated because things weren't going as I hoped they would, and I told her that I was happy with my fiance's name and that I was not interested in her. With my fiance, and I was not interested in her. She started to insult my fiance, so I left. I thought what happened was crazy when I agreed to meet up with her. It never even occurred to me that she might want to get back together, considering how long it's been, and I'm not single. She kept messaging me, so I blocked her, and I don't plan on talking with her again. I was talking with my sister and her husband about it, and they said that while I'm totally right for rejecting her now, that it was an a-hole move on my part to divorce her in the first place, and that I was now being an a-hole again by not being a part of her kid's life. Your sister and her husband are crazy.
That's
That is wild to be like, you're not allowed to divorce her even though you had different, desires for your life. And also you have to be a part of a kid's life who is not your child.
People, what people have crazy hangups when it comes to kids.
Truly.
And it's like, I guess I kind of had one like in one of the last stories we told, but I mean, I pivoted off
Dakota
of that.
pivoted, guys.
I did pivot off of it. But like, this is somebody who's been out of your life. You've literally gotten
in a
you're
new
engaged.
relationship.
You're engaged.
She has her own kid.
Like it's not gonna that's not gonna be the move. That's not the move. That's not the move.
Not the move. Leave. They both agreed that my ex was right for wanting to work it out. But I'm sorry, what about your fiance?
Yeah.
Are they just forgetting that you have a fiance?
How are you gonna let this woman like insult your fiance? I mean, well, you didn't. You left. I'm really talking more from the perspective of his family that are trying to tell him that he's an a-hole. Like, no, dude, he stood on business.
He stood on business.
Absolutely.
Exactly. They said it's my fault that her child doesn't have a father. It's not even his kid. What?
It's
if
kid by association.
Yeah, it's like you had a relationship. It's like all of your ex's children's future children are now your responsibility.
I mean, like, imagine this with anything that's not a kid. Imagine this with a dog.
Yeah,
imagine
like,
you have an ex and like you are split for 4 years and they have a dog and then they come to you and they're like, I need you to take care of this dog with me 50-50. 50-50. This is your dog right now. Oh,
I never wanted a
wasn't
dog.
even looking at the camera.
They said it was my fault that her kid doesn't have a father and that if I had given kids a chance, I would have changed my mind. I just don't agree that kids are something one should compromise on. Agreed. I just don't see how it's possible for it to not be a bad situation for everyone involved that breeds resentment. I don't know my ex's child at all, and I don't agree that it's my responsibility to step up just because his bio dad didn't. I asked some other friends and family, and they agreed with my sister. What is up with your family? Your family's crazy.
I think your family liked your ex more than they like you, buddy.
Apparently.
What the heck?
So now I'm not sure if what I did was wrong or not, and I was just wrongly justifying it to myself. And there is an update. But no, you're not wrong.
I don't know. There's got to be some kind of conspiracy.
There's got to be something going on
here. I don't know
here.
what it would be.
Because why is everyone against you?
How
it's
could
wild.
your own family, like, what is this? I don't know.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I'm being honest about that.
From everything that we have heard, it's like there's no way that it's your responsibility and that you're an a-hole for not wanting to, like.
Yeah, unless this is secretly your kid. But
yeah,
from what we know, this is not yours.
Literally your kid.
Yeah. But there is an update, so let's get into it. My ex-wife somehow got a hold of my fiance's phone number. She contacted her yesterday and made false accusations that I cheated on her when we met up for coffee. Your ex-wife sucks. Obviously, my fiance didn't believe her and just blocked her number. This morning, my sister showed up uninvited to my fiance's house with her kids demanding to talk. It sounds like the sister and the ex are like in cahoots.
Yes, I was going to say cahoots.
They're
absolute
in cahoots.
They're cahooters.
Freaking cahootin' all the way downtown.
It's a cahootinanny.
That was a good one.
Yes. Score on cahootinanny. Yes.
We don't live together and I was not there. My fiance originally wasn't going to let them in, but my sister sat on her porch and refused to leave. It was cold and windy and the kids didn't have coats on. And since it's not the kids' fault, she ended up giving in. Wow. The sister used her kids to guilt Opie's fiance into letting her in. That's ridiculous.
That's psychotic behavior, folks.
That's pretty bad parenting.
That's like,
I don't want to say it, but it's pretty bad parenting. She put on a show for the kids and made some coffee to prepare herself for whatever crap my sister was going to say. My sister started a whole spiel about how if she, my fiance, really cared about me and not just my money, then she would do what's best for me and leave. My sister claimed that since I'll always be connected to my ex, that I will be forever unhappy if I'm with anyone else. Apparently, if my fiance doesn't leave me, it's proof that she's only with me for my money. And that it's obvious that my ex and our child, which WTF, it's not my kid, would actually use the money in a godly way.
Yo, it's time to go no contact.
It's time to go no contact with your sister.
You gotta.
She's interfering with your relationship and is also like trying to force you to be a parent when you explicitly have stated that you do not want to do that.
No, she's literally trying to get your fiance to leave you.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta pick up and go somewhere else, and these people
behind.
gotta lose their number, and that's. But also, she's trying to split up you and your fiance for over a kid that's not yours.
And is saying that is your kid and your responsibility, which is wild.
It hurts. My head hurts.
My head is aching. Okay. My fiance laughed in my sister's face and just stared at her until she left. My fiance and I are both a little confused by what she said. I am better off financially than my fiance, but not by that much. I am also not religious, so even if I did get back with my ex, me and my money would still not be godly. We know she's crazy, but again, why did she think her plan would do anything? After my sister left, my fiance called me and told me what happened. I called my sister to tell her to leave my fiance alone and that she was crazy and delusional. That's how you stand up for your partner.
On business. And it sounds like she's a real one too, because she's the one who laughed in her face. She's like,
yeah, she's like,
you want me to leave this guy?
Funny.
She's like, he's broke.
He doesn't have any money.
I make as much money as this guy. What are you talking about?
But you know what would be you standing on business? Joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just up her
Chappelle. Also, I was saying that broke is like, she sounds like a funny, cheeky little person.
She's
She'd be saying that as a joke.
Yeah.
Clearly, she's extremely supportive.
Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that, because I just really wasn't sure about her anymore.
Yeah. No, trust.
I just didn't know her anymore.
Yeah, don't let my words make you split with your fiance.
She defended herself by saying that she knew what was best for me, and I believe this is the sister, and was just protecting me from going through with the wedding since my fiance was obviously taking advantage of me, and that since I'm under her spell, I can't protect myself. I again told her she was crazy and delusional, and told her that I never wanted to hear from her or anyone who's siding with my ex again, and to please pass the message on. Every time a family member or friend messages me about it, which has been 6 just since this morning, I ask them what their thoughts on the matter are, and if they sided with my ex or sister, I block them. And I think that's the way to go.
Absolutely, because it's unhinged to really. It's not fair.
It's not fair for them to make you think that you're in the wrong for something that is not your responsibility in the slightest.
And it's not like it really, all of this goes back to the baby daddy is
that's his
gone.
That's his,
this is really all his fault. Like,
exactly.
And could you say it's on her for being like, I don't know, probably not. Like, you can't blame somebody for being with somebody who turns into a scumbag, I guess.
No.
But
I think the thing is that it is her. It is, even though it sucks what happened to her, it doesn't mean that it's anyone else's responsibility besides her, and should have been the baby daddy's. But I
don't know. It seems pretty like a pretty desperate move to just like
be like
try to gaslight
I wonder
your
if she's
ex
going back to all of her exes
into being like, yeah, actually, this is your kid.
This is your kid.
It's your kid in spirit. Right? And if you don't take care of the kid, you're going to have to explain that to the big man upstairs.
You're going to have to explain it to him because you're not being very godly right now. I'll tell you that much for free. But that is the end of that story. Are there any donations that we need to read?
I don't think so, but I do want to say, everyone in chat that made a comment about my Bob Ross shirt, I love you and thank you.
It's a really good shirt. I did notice it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Little Bobby.
Little Bobby
Ross. I'm going to customize it soon.
Bobby. Oh.
Yeah. I do a little embroidery. I'll do a little embroidery here and there. Put a little happy accident somewhere on there. Might put it in the middle of the galaxy. I don't know. You maybe have to wait and see.
I like it. But that is the end of that story and the end of that episode. So I will have to leave just there. Yeah.